Hear that in Fayetteville. The #1 team in college football looks to continue its offensive dominance today.
The Arkansas Razorbacks welcome in the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Welcome to ESPN College Football presented by Xfinity. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. Well, as you can see, we are somewhat limited as a result of weather in the area. We are currently under a technical delay. So as you can see, the camera angles at this point a little bit far away from the field, but we will do our best in the time being to cover the action as the Alabama Crimson Tide come to Fayetteville, riding a very hot offensive performance and the early season Heisman favorite, Tua Tagovailoa.
Thank you, Greg. You covered, not only do you have a weather technical delay, we had a headset delay right at the start here. So I'm putting on my headset here as we come on camera. All right, while I hold this in place with, did you mention the fact that we can only show certain angles due to company policy?
I did,
good,
yes.
We got that. Let's talk about Alabama's offense.
Yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa. He's right now the Heisman front runner. What's been the biggest difference with the tight offense with him leading the squad?
It's just the ability to stretch the field off play action. If you look at Alabama's offense the last few years, they were very sound running the football. They took care of the football. They did not make mistakes. But now they've gone from being conservative to aggressive. And as a result, every single one of the weapons that they have on their offense could potentially get the ball on every single play. Tua Tagovailoa has been smart. He's been accurate. He's been athletic when they've needed him to be. And he's been very good at taking shots downfield to stretch the defense.
Everybody recalls that game-winning play in the national championship game in overtime against Georgia. And obviously the controversy, if you want to call it that, going into the year, would it be him? Would it be Jalen Hurts? The two have worked beautifully together. Obviously that's a major story with how Jalen Hurts has stuck it out here with the Crimson Tide. We'll obviously see him at some point in this ball game today. Even if it is a close game, they want both guys to play. Alabama, per kickoff return, leading the country. They lead the country in just about every offensive or special teams category. Short kick, live ball, scooped at the 15 by Josh Jacobs, and he is tackled short of the 25-yard line. Tua Tagovailoa, great player, but he's well-rounded. It's not just about football. Him backflipping into the water in his hometown of Hawaii. He can play the ukulele, plays the drums as well. Although I don't know if Coach Saban would appreciate this next movement here by Tua.
That's
Put a helmet on.
That is targeting. He, of course, has been so much fun to watch these last few weeks and really just over the last 9 months. I know he missed time in the spring because of a broken hand, but when he's on the field, it's must-watch television. Big reason why he's the Heisman frontrunner through the month of September.
Off play action. Tua dumps it off to the tight end, Irv Smith, and it's a first down past the 40. Smith stays in bounds, and how about this? This has happened to Arkansas all year. Whether it's on the opening kickoff or on the opening play, they give up a touchdown. 76 yards.
What a way to get started as Alabama comes on the road. A little naked just to get Tua into the game. Nice, easy completion. But look at the blocking downfield. I mean, just outstanding blocking and really poor pursuit by the Razorbacks defense. I mean, Irv Smith has really been an X factor for this offense so far. You see the speed on display, taking it the distance on a very routine passing catch.
6th opening drive touchdown this season for Alabama. The extra point is good. We'll try to give you as much description in our play-by-play as we can with obviously limited cameras. Well, right there on cue, you've got Irv Smith, the guy that we really didn't even talk about during the week. And we're talking about Damian Harris, the receiving core, where they've got all these interchangeable parts. And it's Irv Smith who does have 3 touchdowns now in the season, but is a guy that doesn't get a lot of press, comes up with a big play.
Yeah, that's the thing about this Alabama offense is it used to be an offense that featured one receiver. When I was in school, it was Julio Jones. It was Amari Cooper. It was Calvin Ridley. Now there's a legitimate threat at every single receiver spot. They have 3 deep at wide receiver. All are interchangeable between Ruggs and Judy and Devontae Smith. You have a tight end in Irv Smith and Hale Henches, who's been very effective in the passing game as well. And you have a 3-headed monster at running back that includes 2 5-star players and Josh Jacobs, who might be one of the better pass-catching wide running backs in all of college football.
De'Vion Warren is deep for Arkansas, signaling for the fair catch, and that means that it automatically comes out to the 25-yard line. The quarterback for Arkansas is Ty Storey, making his 3rd consecutive start. Was a winner in high school, 3 state championships, 1 as a linebacker, 2 as a quarterback in 2013 and 2014 in Charleston. He did have some offers from some other power schools like Bama, Auburn, and Louisville. And now playing quarterback for Chad Morris.
He's really been stable for this offense. They were searching so many issues after the North Texas game. They had to stabilize the position, and Ty Storey's done his best job of doing that. They've played better the last 2 weeks as a result.
And one of the reasons Rakeem Boyd, who they faked it to on that play, Storey throws it at the feet of the receiver, O'Grady, who wasn't even looking for the ball. There was pressure from Christian Miller. Again, if you're just tuning in wondering what's going on here, we're 12 minutes away from when we can man our cameras again. So we're showing you some looks the best we can. We're under a weather technical delay. There was a lightning strike within 8 miles of the stadium. So by company policy, we cannot man the cameras right now, so we'll do the best to bring you the action here. 2nd and 10 from the Arkansas 25. And Storey looking to dump it off out of the backfield instead over the middle to the tight end O'Grady, and he gets about 8 yards to the 33. It will bring up 3rd down and 2.
And this is where they have to be efficient. On 1st and 2nd down, Alabama on 3rd down does a really good job. They can play man coverage. They can rush the passer, so Arkansas has to be efficient on the first 2 downs, because if you get in an obvious passing situation, Raekwon Davis at defensive tackle, Quinnen Williams, who's been as good as any defensive tackle in college football, they can pin their ears back and really get after the passer. So keeping them off balance, mixing the tempo, mixing the looks with screens and with draws, and making sure that they avoid 3rd and long situations.
Alabama scored on its first play. Arkansas its 3rd play. Storey has a completion out to the 43. It's a 1st down. And Grayson Gunter, a 3rd-string tight end, able to make the catch and move the chains, an 8-yard gain.
Pressure off the right-hand side. Storey recognizes one-on-one, and he takes advantage of it. Trayvon Diggs falls down as he's breaking, and the reason why we can see that is because we have an in-house camera that's taking a peek at it, not manned by anyone working for ESPN.
They run the ball. Boyd off the left side, and he's able to push the pile, broke a tackle, and gets to the 48-yard line, so that's a gain of 5. Nice drive so far.
Really nice start by this offense, keeping Alabama guessing. We've seen misdirection. We've seen a double fake screen that goes to the tight end over the middle of the field. Got Alabama on their heels a little bit about what's coming at them, snap in and snap out.
Well, you guys made the point, and I know both you guys watch a lot of games on tape. The Storey dumps it off to Boyd, and he's tripped up. A great open field stop by McKinney. So minimal gain, if any. You guys have made the comment several times this week that you see some weaknesses defensively for Alabama.
Yeah, they're still not a complete finished product. They could find a little bit more dynamic edge rusher. They don't have a Tim Williams coming off the edge or a Ryan Anderson. Now Christian Miller's coming along, and Anthony Jennings has been solid. But there's still some issues that they're trying to work out. Better angles at the 2nd level, making sure that they're dynamic in that area. They're so talented. It's just, are they playing complete just yet?
Storey over the middle to Austin Cantrell. He's got another Arkansas 1st down. Nick Saban told us yesterday he's noticed a big difference on film with Arkansas the last 2 weeks. They're a lot different offensively than they were early in the year.
Yeah, and they're just changing where Alabama's looking. I mean, they get a running back going out to the right-hand side, Rakeem Boyd, who is the home run threat for Arkansas. They slip a little tight end screen over the middle. Changing where Alabama's looking at and changing their focal point minimizes the athleticism discrepancy between the two teams.
Chase Hayden now is the running back, and they're going to throw it out to Mike Woods, true freshman, able to get around the edge, dragged down by Trayvon Diggs, junior out of Maryland, and it's a pickup of about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. We are 8 minutes away from when we can start manning the cameras and show you all the angles that we intended to coming into the game.
And this is their young speedster here, Michael Woods. He's the true freshman, really the one game-breaking, space-tight player they've got at this receiving corps. Good early target there for Ty Storey.
Play action pass, Story setting up, looking to take a deep shot into double coverage. Incomplete. Intended for Jordan Jones. So it'll be 3rd down and 6.
And the fans in the stands were wanting pass interference, but it was a good no call, because if you look at the safety, Deontay Thompson, he's trying to make a play on the ball. I mean, he has right to the football as well. So he's looking back at it, trying to run underneath that post. So it was a good no call by the officials.
And we have an injured Alabama player. Can't see the number. We'll tell you about it when we come back to Fayetteville. It's a big one for Notre Dame and Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. Enter Sandman, 8 Eastern ABC, as well as the ESPN app. Brian Kelly said they're going to stay in the locker room doing Enter Sandman. We don't want any part of that. Meanwhile, overcast skies, we've had a little bit of rain. We're just a few minutes away from when we can man our cameras again. We've been in a weather technical delay. Because of company policy, we cannot man the cameras. So we're showing you what we can in terms of angles. We'll give you as much description up here in the booth as we can. Thanks for hanging with us. It's 7-0 Alabama. Touchdown on the opening play from scrimmage for the Crimson Tide. It's good that my headset was working. You would have had to call that. In the dirt on the snap. Story in trouble. And the ball is ripped loose. And it's picked up by Alabama. It's recovered by Isaiah Buggs. Forced by Quinnen Williams. So a good drive by Arkansas comes to an end on the turnover. Raekwon Davis was injured on the previous play. He's okay, though. Wasn't on the field for that. Quinnen Williams forces the fumble. Buggs for the recovery. 7-0 Crimson Tide.
And college football is presented by Xfinity. Now with ESPN3 available on Xfinity X1. And in part by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
Beautiful new locker room here in Fayetteville. Done a lot of renovations at Razorback Stadium. But a lot of work to do on the field. Arkansas down 7-0, and they just turned it over. And now we've got to whistle some movement by Alabama as we're about to man our cameras again. That's why we have the ovation here.
False start. 74. Offense. Tiger penalty. 1st down.
Jedrick Wills, a right tackle, called for a false start. So we are in a weather technical delay due to company policy. We could not have the cameras manned. But again, our folks are making their way to the cameras so we can show you all the angles. Thanks for hanging with us here. First quarter, 4 minutes gone by. Damian Harris gets the call here on 1st and 15, and he is stood up at the line of scrimmage.
Don't you get the sense that whether it was last week versus Texas A&M, you give up the touchdown on the opening kickoff, this week you give up the touchdown on defense, and then all of a sudden Arkansas kind of settles in, and it's the defense that becomes the calming force.
And that's going to be what they need today to keep up with a high-powered Alabama offense with Tua Tagovailoa leading the charge.
On 2nd and 14, Tua to Smith again. He had the touchdown on the first play from scrimmage, and he's still going on this one. He coughs the ball up. It's recovered by Alabama, and it's a touchdown for Henry Ruggs. The bouncing ball certainly going Alabama's way in every way this year.
Wow. I mean, a great play. Working play action and finding Irv Smith, who's just a bowling ball, but he gets it stripped downfield. And this is why you hustle on every play. You never know what's going to happen. You chase the ball, whether you're on offense or on defense. And Henry Ruggs, right place, right time, is rewarded and changes what could have been a catastrophic play for an Alabama offense that seldom turns it over into a touchdown. Great hustle by Henry Ruggs.
His 6th touchdown of the year as the rain falls here in Fayetteville. Less than 5 minutes into the game, and it's already 14-0 Alabama. Play from scrimmage, Alabama scores a touchdown. Irv Smith, 76 yards, catch and run, and it just looked like Arkansas stopped there.
Just awful pursuit in the secondary. I don't think anyone realized just how fast Irv Smith is. Next drive, Arkansas has a couple first downs, but not before Buggs strips it and recovers it. 2 plays later, Irv Smith again on the RPO, just rumbling, stumbling through defenders. And look at the hustle by Henry Ruggs. The fumble, but you always chase the ball. On offense and on defense, you always chase the ball. And when Alabama turns it over, does not get picked up by the Arkansas player. And you can see Alabama, they cash in as much as anybody on sudden change opportunities.
That play right there, Greg, a microcosm of the season for both teams, really. For Arkansas in a negative way and Alabama in a positive way. Touchback to the 25, but first here's Adnan in the studio.
All right, Dave Pasch, thank you very much. I want to keep you up to date what's happening with Texas and Oklahoma. The Red River Showdown. Trick play here. Little Jordan Humphrey to Colin Johnson. Touchdown for Texas. And it's 7-all right now early in the first quarter of play. Also, West Virginia and Kansas. Will Greer to Letty Brown here. Good luck slowing down that Mountaineers offense. 7-0. It's over on ESPN2. Dave, back to you.
Thank you, my friend. 14-0 Alabama here. You're looking at first-year head coach Chad Morris. Spent the last 3 years as the head man at SMU. Trying to turn this program around. They've lost 7 straight games against FBS opponents, and a broken play here on the first play of this drive. Dylan Moses eats alive Ty Story.
Chad Morris is an innovative offensive mind. Of course, was at Clemson for a while. Got things going at SMU when nobody thought you could. It's going to take some time here at Arkansas. He's got to get faster. He's got to get more athletic. They have to be more sound in the front, offensively and defensively. But he's got a vision for this program, and they got a long ways to go.
Loss of 3 on first down. Story on second down. Dumps it off to Boyd. Makes one man miss. And does a great job to stay in bounds. Now, actually, they're going to say he stepped out back at the 29-yard line. Shaheen Carter was trying to bring down Boyd and could not, so it's a gain of about 7 on the play. You see there he stepped out. The official right on top of it.
Yeah, and you just can't have negative plays on first down because that was a pretty successful play there for Arkansas, and yet you're still in a passing situation where Alabama likes to ramp up the pressure. Rakeem Boyd is a good, solid back. They need to continue to find ways to get him the football in space, particularly on the perimeter, where he can use his size as an advantage.
Texas A&M transfer and was at a junior college last year. Here's Story on the rollout on 3rd down and 6. And that pass batted away, incomplete. Diggs knocks it away from Jordan Jones. So it's 4th down.
This is such an unbelievable play. I mean, it doesn't look that difficult, but if you watch Diggs and the way he flips his hips, this is a pretty well-thrown football. But they throw a little back shoulder on a little wheel route. Diggs is running the route. He used to play wide receiver. He's running the route, and you see him put that right foot in the ground, flip his hips almost 270 degrees, and knock the ball down. Great play by Diggs.
Here's Jalen Waddle, had a punt return for a touchdown last week, and he's going to stay away from this one. And the ball comes to a standstill at the 24-yard line. 46-yard punt, no return. Alabama's offense back out there, leading the country in scoring, 54 points per game, and in the top 10 in several other categories. It's the first time not only in Alabama history but in SEC history where a team has scored 45 points or more in 5 straight games to start the season.
Yeah, you never see this at Alabama. With all due respect to some of the quarterbacks that have come before them, it's not often you see Bama in the top 10 in passing yardage per game.
Jalen Hurts is in the game. He's in the slot and now comes into the backfield. And Hurts gets the handoff. And he's out to the 29-yard line. Jalen Hurts, who obviously had been the starter, 26-2 record, lost the job to Tua Tagovailoa at the start of the year, elected not to transfer, not to redshirt, but to stick it out here with the Tide.
And to become a more complete player. We all know that Jalen Hurts is a tremendous athlete, but he can improve as a passer, and actually has this year in a lot of ways.
Hurts going to run it again, a huge lane. Hurts past midfield and finally run out of play at the 44-yard line. 27-yard run.
You see Tua, first one to congratulate him, just puts his foot in the ground, a little quarterback counter. See movement going to the right, pullers coming to the left, and there he goes, he's out the gate. Jalen Hurts never looks like he's running full speed, but he's moving as fast as anyone else on the field. It's nice to see him get involved early while the game is still yet to be decided.
Damien Harris, another huge gap, and he's to the 31, a 13-yard pickup. We'll get into the Hurts-Tagovailoa dynamic a little bit later. Let's spend a moment on Damien Harris, trying to become the first Alabama running back to have 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons.
He's so steady. I mean, he doesn't get the praise he deserves. And I mean this. I would take him in the first round of the NFL draft. He's that explosive, and he really translates to today's NFL with the way he can catch it.
Tagovailoa off play action, goes back to Harris now, who breaks a tackle and finally pushed out of play, but after another first down and a gain of 13 to the 18-yard line.
Greg, take a look at that progression when you see where Tua Tagovailoa went to front side, and as a left-hander to come back to his check down. It's just really well done. Poised, in command, knowing exactly where his outlet was. Really, really nice job in terms of playing within the confines of the offense.
And Harris can catch the ball, too. That's his 10th reception of the season. Fresh set of downs for Tua. And he slings it to the end zone for Smith, and it's incomplete. Cameron Curl appeared to get a piece of the ball there.
Pretty rare when you see the ball hit the ground with Tua on the field. Just slightly out of the arms of both the defender and Irv Smith. He tried to anticipate that throw. Pretty good coverage on the back end by Arkansas. Just a little greedy. Cameron Curl, the safety, tried to close on the corner route.
Josh Jacobs in the backfield on 2nd and 10 now. Play fake for Tua, rolling out. And Tua completes it to Jeudy inside the 5. It's another Alabama first down. Jerry Jeudy, a team-high 20 catches. That's a 14-yard gain.
Alabama has everything they want at their disposal right now. They're working the ground game. They're going off tackle with some of the stretch.
Here's Jacobs, pushes the pile all the way down to the 1-yard line.
No, Greg, it's interesting you say that because they have so many things in their arsenal to go to, but it's simplicity made to look complex. They're a 2 to 4 run play team, and that's it.
Jacobs again into the end zone, touchdown Alabama, and it's 20-0 already. 6th touchdown of the season for Jacobs, a junior from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Josh Jacobs is technically 3rd on the depth chart, and he would start at 115 schools. He's that good, and he's that versatile. We'll see him a little later on playing fullback and being used in Alabama RPO packages as a receiver.
And we saw him return a kick for a touchdown against Louisville to start the season. Bulovas tacks on 1, and it's all Alabama, not surprisingly, against 1-4 Arkansas.
While Dari, Gene, and Chris are watching this, doing that, and talking to this guy, which means you can watch it all later when you tune in to SEC Now, tonight on the SEC Network.
So the average halftime lead for Alabama this year has been 35 points. They already have a 21-point advantage, and we still have 5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
They just start so fast, and they overload you so quickly that if you make just the slightest mistake, you're a little late in getting through your progression as a quarterback, you get sacked, stripped, and it's out the gate. You take a bad angle, just a tiny angle that's a little bit off, and their tight end runs past your corner. It's just, they're so explosive and have been just so incredible to watch. not just today, but throughout the first month of the season.
It's going to be another fair catch for Warren. It will come out to the 25. Here's Adnan.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. Updating you right now on what else is happening between Kansas and West Virginia. It's Lenny Brown again. He has 2 touchdowns today. He entered with 2 in his career. 14-0 Mountaineers. It's on ESPN2 and the Red River Showdown. Texas and Oklahoma. Kyler Murray, just his 3rd interception of the season. What about Brandon Jones playing center field? 10-7 Texas has the edge. Dave, back to you and Greg.
And you can make the case, Adnan, that guy along with Tua right now are the 2 front runners for the Heisman Trophy. Obviously the outcome of the game today will impact Murray as Raekwon Davis gets off a block and drags down Boyd at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Raekwon Davis is a guy that needs to come alive. The best defensive player for Alabama so far this year is probably Quinnen Williams. Now, Deontay Thompson might have something to say about that, but Raekwon Davis was expected to be the bell cow up front. He hasn't really been himself. The first 5 games of the year, he's been a little up and down. I know they want to see his production ramp up.
Story lobs it downfield for Boyd. And Boyd lowers the shoulder on Deontay Thompson. They're going to mark him out of bounds back at the 46 of Arkansas.
Just a free release, and you see a little bit of a rub route. Mack Wilson, number 30, is in coverage. Man coverage at that, but he gets rubbed by the ex-receiver who's coming in and standing about 5 yards off the ball. Boyd is a really versatile weapon that I know Ty Storey is going to emphasize at some point in this game.
And Boyd going to get a lot of work with Debwa Whaley out again in this game. Boyd not afraid to welcome contact as Dylan Moses hits him, and then Boyd chatting with Deontay Thompson. Is Ty Storey the guy to get Arkansas through this season, do you think?
Right now, based on what we know, yes. With him at the helm the last 2 weeks, the team has progressed. Now, are they where they need to be? No. Has Ty Storey been dynamic enough at quarterback to hold it long term? Probably not, but he's the best option they have at this point.
O'Grady on the tight end screen. It's a first down inside the Bama 40. This is the second time that Storey has moved the team into Alabama territory. There was a strip sack on the first possession. It resulted in a takeaway for Alabama. Let's see if the result is more positive for Arkansas.
And Greg, I really like this plan for Arkansas. Keeping Alabama guessing, a lot of misdirection, a lot of pump fake, and easy throws for Ty Storey to let the receivers do the rest of the work.
And Chad Morris, a really good offensive coach. Play action here. Storey rolling out, looking downfield. Everybody covered, so Storey goes underneath. And it's an incompletion. He was trying to hit Deion Stewart.
And that's what you have to do when you're playing against Alabama. You just want to take the fight to them and run it between the tackles. It ain't going to happen.
Good luck.
It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I'll just tell you right now, it's not going to happen. So what you have to do against Alabama is you have to try to win on the perimeter. You have to change the launch angle. You have to get them moving sideline to sideline. You can't take the fight and say, hey, we're going to beat you at what we do. You have to adjust, because if you have that level of arrogance playing against Alabama, the likelihood of you being able to move the ball consistently is extremely low.
Is it arrogance or them just saying we got to try? Because it's not like the perimeter's easy either. Here's a strike by Storey, a first down. Deion Stewart inside the 25. It's a 16-yard gain.
And Alabama's going to play man coverage, so they're going to have some opportunities outside. Right here, they try to work a slant, and they get it against Diggs. And a nice throw by Storey, too. In stride for a nice pickup.
You know, Greg, I think Ty Storey won this job because he proved that he can get beat up and get back up off the carpet, and his teammates respected it. And that's when Chad Morris said, that's it. It's your job.
Cole Kelly, the other starter. Here's Boyd trying to get outside. Like I said, it's really hard to run the perimeter there. Raekwon Davis. Check that. It was LeBron Ray on the tackle there, getting off a block. And so a loss of 1 on the play.
And they just have to really change. Alabama, if they know what's coming, it's over.
Yep.
You have to show run and pass it. You have to show pass and run it. You have to really change up your personnel and try to get creative with the looks that you give the Tide. So it's a challenge. It always has been. And it will be another one here tonight. Or today, excuse me, against Arkansas.
Again, that negative play on first downs killed Arkansas all season. Story off play action. He's got O'Grady inside the 10. It's 1st and goal for Arkansas.
A little throwback, if you will. Watch O'Grady start on the right, work his way all the way back to the left around the numbers, and they go with a little pull-up and throwback, and it was actually pretty well covered. Good job by Diggs staying home and not taking the bait, but in a better job by Story throwing the back shoulder hold-up to his tight end.
How frustrating, though, must this be for Chad Morris? You give up a touchdown on the first play. They get a fluke touchdown where they probably would have scored anyway, but still on the bouncing ball. Yet twice they've moved the football on Alabama's defense. Can they punctuate it here with a touchdown in this drive? Hard to do that against McKinney. Boyd on the catch, but he gets nothing.
Well, it's tough, Greg, when this field condenses down here and you're a spread team and you want to do a lot of misdirection and play action and move the pocket. Alabama defensively just doesn't have to cover the real estate and can keep the ball in front of them. It makes it hard to score down here if you're not a power run team.
Well, they just brought a couple of tight ends in, perhaps for that reason.
Not a lot of teams get to the red zone.
And if they do, it's in the fourth quarter when the second-team defense is out there, right?
Exactly.
You're right.
But the ones that have fared quite well. And, I mean, if you got the nitpick to try to find holes, but that's one of them.
Oh, Story had the tight end Gunter wide open and missed them. 3rd and goal.
And one that Ty Story would like to give back. Look at the movement here. A little rub again. Alabama, we told you, they're going to run man coverage. So what do you have to do to create separation? Sometimes you need some rubs and some offensive picks. Ty Story just a little anxious on the touch pass to the back corner, overthrows the wide open wide receiver. You just can't miss throws like that because you're not going to get guys open like that very often against a team that's this sound and talented.
Those aren't picks, those are rubs.
Rubs if you're an offensive guy, picks if you're a defensive guy.
Story, end zone again, and this time he hits his tight end O'Grady. Touchdown, Razorbacks. Again, Nick Saban told us when he watched film, he saw a different offense the last couple of games, even though they only scored 17, lost to A&M last week. But Saban said this is more of what Chad Morris wants. And you're seeing it right now because they moved it on Alabama here in the first quarter. That was an 11-play, 75-yard drive.
Yeah, it was, and there wasn't a whole lot to it. Just a little corner route you'll see by the number 3. This is a pretty simple coverage. And they didn't pass it off right. You see Diggs, number 7, who they're trying to basically inside out that stack right there. And they did not pass it off. You see 15, Xavier McKinney stay inside. Diggs is supposed to stay outside depending on where the wide receivers crossed. Diggs lets the receiver get over the top of him. And there's a lot of space in the back corner. A good job by O'Grady, but a bit of a bust in the secondary by Alabama.
It makes it hard, Greg, when you're going to play that in and out bracket coverage. If a receiver comes off the ball and gets to a certain length, you have to be accountable for him.
Ty Story having a pretty good start outside of the fumble.
Pooch kickoff to Jacobs. And Jacobs past the 30-yard line out to the 34. Take a look at this blimp-worthy play brought to you by Goodyear.
And if you watch Alabama and the way they've developed their RPO and play-action passing attack, it puts so much conflict on the second-level defenders. You see all those guys in the backfield because they're so concerned about Damian Harris or Najee Harris or Josh Jacobs getting the ball, so they come up. You have Irv Smith, who's a big, capable, fast wide receiving tight end, going up the seam. Tua hits him, and a great hustle by Ruggs to recover the fumble en route to the end zone.
Final seconds here, the first quarter, and Tua going to keep it, trying to stiff arm the defender. Instead, he spun down. That was Scooter Harris making the play. Arkansas made a lot of mistakes in that first quarter, but they also did some good things. against the number 1 team in the country. Alabama, 21 first quarter points and a 14-point lead on the road. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Xfinity. Alabama in front of Arkansas after 1 quarter of play, 21-7, with Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, and Tom Luginbill here in Fayetteville. Number 1 team in the country. Alabama looking to go to 6-0. They have Missouri in Tuscaloosa next week. Then they go to Tennessee. And then to LSU November 3rd. That's their last road game of the season. Their final 3 games will be at home, including the Iron Bowl November 24th. On 1st and 10, it's Najee Harris on the carry. Picks up 6. Here's Adnan in the studio.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Once again, I want to update you this time on what's happening with Texas and Oklahoma. Red River Showdown. Kyler Murray and Oklahoma's offense stuck on 3rd and 1. So Texas's defense, second best in the Big 12. They're stepping up today, Dave. It's 10-all.
All right, but 3rd and 3 here for Alabama. This is big for Arkansas's defense. Got a little momentum. Can they make a play here against the number 1 offense in college football?
And one of the best in the country on 3rd down as well.
Tua's going to throw it. Now flushed out of the pocket. Trying to get to the first down marker. He's pushed out. It's going to be close. They'll mark him short. At the 43, Dijon Harris chasing down Tua Tagovailoa. Shoves him out of play. Just shy of the line to gain. It's 4th down.
Tua Tagovailoa is working the left side of the field. And he had Jerry Jeudy open on the right side. He feels the pressure though, escapes, tries to become a runner. Just doesn't run fast enough to pick it up, but at least he gives Nick Saban a chance to think about it.
They're going for it, and I would too if I had this offense.
I would put my offense on the field, and I would try to draw Arkansas offsides with a hard count. It's difficult to go for it at this point. Nick Saban's going to call timeout.
They had Robinson in as a fullback in front of Damian Harris in the backfield. First timeout taken by Nick Saban. 8 Eastern tonight on ABC. Notre Dame is on the road in Blacksburg against Virginia Tech. It's one of the best atmospheres in college football at night. Enter Sandman tonight, ABC.
Never been there, but definitely on my bucket list.
It's awesome at night, especially. Greg, here's what just happened before, right after Nick had to call timeout, talking to Tua about noticing the play clock. And these are things, remember, this is a first-year starter. I know he won the championship last year, but he's still learning.
Yeah, still just learning situational awareness and clock management. Those things come with time. I mean, no one would expect a true sophomore and making his 5th start to have those things completely dialed in. It's to be expected that still an area of growth for him.
Alabama going for it on 4th down and 1. Going to hand it to Damian Harris, and he gets stood up. He didn't get it. Harris was there first for the Razorbacks. That front 7 for Arkansas can be stout at times. They were here.
Trying to go with just a little power. A little surge. And you see number 24, Brian Robinson, just whiff in the hole. You see him, look at him right there. He's just standing around. He doesn't hit anybody. As a result, the unblocked defender fills that gap perfectly. And Damian Harris doesn't often get brought back down by first contact. Right there, he stood up in the hole. Great surge by Arkansas's defensive front.
A design quarterback run here for Story. And he gets about 8 yards. Guys, think about as a disastrous a start as this was for Arkansas, giving up a touchdown on the first play, and then a bouncing ball off a fumble that's recovered by an offensive player for a touchdown. If they can score here, the way they've moved the football on Alabama today, we may have a game.
Yeah, and they can probably look at themselves too and say, hey, our mistakes are self-inflicted. If I'm Arkansas, that's what I'm telling myself. We fumbled the ball, but we moved it consistently on that drive. We didn't cover the RPO. We didn't take good pursuit angles on the first play. So Arkansas is probably thinking to themselves, we're in this, man.
And a huge running lane for Boyd. inside the 10, and then hit out of bounds. At the 6-yard line, a 32-yard run. Boy, Deontay Thompson lucky he didn't get flagged there. First and goal, Arkansas.
Yeah, and watch the pullers. The left guard, Yeldon Froholt, and Ty Cleary, the center. They're able to pull and get out in front to create new angles and gaps in this Alabama defensive front. And Boyd has a chance to become a star in this league. He really does. He continues to accelerate with his physical presence. He's got top-end speed that's rare and is pretty well-rounded when involved in the passing game as well.
So Chase Hayden in the game here. First and goal for Arkansas. The quarterback keeps it, and Story fumbles the ball, and Alabama's Thompson recovers it. A turnover on the goal line. Quinnen Williams forced it. Thompson with the recovery.
Wow. Ty Story puts the ball on the turf for the second time. He's hit. And you see that ball clearly moving before that left knee hits the ground. Of course, every turnover is reviewed. You see it moving, though.
Yeah, it looks like it's out. You're right.
Man, Ty Story, after such a nice play sequence, he gets hit and can't secure the football. I know running it against Alabama is challenging. I have to disagree with running the quarterback there. You have Boyd, who's been so steady and explosive. Let's run the football effectively, not just this week, but the last few. You opt to give it to your quarterback, who's not as strong a ball carrier in the toughest part of the field.
Second takeaway for Alabama's defense. This drive starts short of their 1-yard line. Harris past the 5-yard line, and Harris drags a defender past the line to gain.
No,
Greg Greenlaw couldn't get him down. 11-yard pickup.
Greg, it goes back to what you said earlier. Self-inflicted wounds for Arkansas. And now all you do is swing the momentum back to a team. And despite you having them backed up, all the pressure now goes back onto the defense. They've got to start helping out this defense.
Tua throws here, and it's a dart. Ruggs on the catch, out to the 33, picking up 21 yards. So in 2 plays, they move it out to the 33-yard line.
It's unbelievable. I mean, every time they get backed up or in a difficult situation, a 3rd and long, they just seem to answer. And now they go to their pony package with 2 running backs on the field. Keep an eye on number 8, Josh Jacobs, who's working out here to the right-hand side.
Yep, leaving the backfield. Tonga Bailoa wide open is Judy into Arkansas territory. They can't get him down. They finally blow it dead. 18-yard pickup. Some contact after the whistle. No flags.
And this is where Alabama usually takes a shot. You have all the momentum. You're going for the jugular. Arkansas's defenders have their hands on their hips, so the pass rush might be somewhat neutralized. This is where Alabama, on this part of the field, they usually try to take the top off the defense and run one of these speedy wide receivers way downfield.
And here's Najee Harris. Falls forward to the 42-yard line. It's a gain of 7. Or Harris, who's from the Bay Area. And the ball came out, and it was recovered by Arkansas. Coming out of there with it was Ramirez. Harris thought he was down. Alabama thought the whistle blew. At least that's what it looked like. But ruled on the field as a fumble.
Recovered by the defense. First down.
That was really odd sequence of events. You see Najee Harris kind of dragging defenders. And before his body hits the ground, it looks like that ball is moving. Arkansas has new life.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Wendy's, the official hamburger of NCAA football. Wendy's Tailgate Tour food truck will be giving out free Dave singles at college campuses all season long.
All right, so we're back here in Fayetteville. Darren McFadden, who was a terrific college player, first-round draft pick, set the school rushing record, is here today. So they're reviewing two things here. First of all, did Najee Harris fumble the ball? It was ruled a fumble on the field. But also, watch Santos Ramirez here come at the end. They're looking to see if targeting should be called here on Ramirez.
Yeah, and you have to look because right there, does he hit him with the crown of the helmet? That's what they have to determine. The ball is wiggling. It looks like it's moving before Najee Harris's backside hits the turf. So the call on the field would likely stand. But if there's targeting on Santos Ramirez, because you can determine whether or not Najee Harris is defenseless and it's forcible contact, or was it an impact created by the crown of the helmet that would lead them to a targeting infraction against Santos Ramirez. So a lot to consider here for the SEC crew.
They have to have indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt to change the ruling on the field.
Another element to that, guys, is do they feel as if he launched? Did he launch? And I don't know if there's an upward movement that would give validity to that element.
After video review, the runner's right elbow was on the ground prior to the ball coming out. It'll be second down.
And so no targeting. They were looking. Review can create targeting, but they are telling us that there was no forcible contact to the head or neck area against Najee Harris, and that's why they did not call targeting and eject Santos Ramirez. Alabama keeps the ball. It's a first down at the Arkansas 42-yard line.
It was very, very close on that review. I got to be honest, I'm a little surprised. It did look like the elbow was close, but I couldn't tell without a shadow of a doubt that it was on the ground. So it has to be indisputable video evidence. They felt in Birmingham that they had enough. And
I thought it was more targeting. I thought that was forcible contact. I thought that was going to be the likely call and that the fumble would stand because there wasn't enough video evidence, but obviously they felt that they had it beyond all doubt.
But if it's forcible contact, it has to be to a defenseless player. If it's in the field of play and he's not a defenseless player, it has to be with the crown of the helmet. And the crown of the helmet was not what started the impact between Santos Ramirez and with Najee Harris.
So Bama, now they're trying to get the down. It's actually second down. So it's second down and 3. They had moved the chains to make it a first down. They got to move them back. They set the ball down, and it's 2nd and 3. Tonga Vailoa slides up, goes deep for Judy, on the money. Touchdown, Alabama. What a throw by Tua, perfectly tossed to Judy for his 7th touchdown.
We said just a play ago, this is where Alabama likes to take shots. They didn't do it on first down. They opted to do it on second down. They run Irv Smith. He grabs that safety, and as a result, you have one-on-one on a post over the top with Jerry Jeudy. And look at this work by Jerry Jeudy, working out, attacking leverage. You see that safety hold on Irv Smith's route. And Jeudy has one-on-one, a beautiful throw, too, by Tua Tagovailoa.
And now Tua with 16 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He's the only player in college football with those kind of numbers this season. He is delivering in this ball game in many ways for the Tide. 28-7.
CarMax Drive What's Possible update. Texas and Oklahoma tied at 10 after a big 4th down conversion. Sam Ehlinger to Trey Watson. The grad transfer from Cal just got there. 17-10. How about them Longhorns right now, Dave?
Man, since week 1, Texas has looked like an entirely different team. Would you agree with that?
Totally. I mean, they've had some playmakers on the outside and Colin Johnson and Lil Jordan Humphrey. Ehlinger's playing his best football. That defense is coming around. Have some really good young players on that defense, too. So they're the headline act down there in Austin, and looks like they're holding a really good offense in check today.
Meanwhile, here, a 14-point swing in 2 minutes. Arkansas is going in to make it a 7-point game. Instead, they fumble, and then Alabama with a 99-yard drive at 1:55 seconds.
This touchdown pass is all about Irv Smith and the influence that he has on the safety. You're going to see the safety kind of hold and come down, which allows Jeudy to fire over the top on the post route. Look at the influence that Irv Smith creates. That safety hesitates. Next thing you know, you have one-on-one, and it's a perfectly thrown football. And how about Jalen Hurts? All right, here he is in the background. He got unseated for Tua Tagovailoa. And he's doing his old offensive coordinator a little love, saying, all right, touchdown, before he even drops back, saying it's over. Jalen puts his arms up, and Tua makes him right. Great throw and catch, and a good job by Jalen being able to foresee the future on the sideline.
Another negative play on first down here for Arkansas. It's a loss of 3. Tonga Bailoa did go into the tent, and
yeah, Dave, no word as of right now. I'm over here working on it.
okay, thank you, Tom.
You betcha.
We didn't see anything that happened on that prior
It was
drive.
from a high five, I believe.
Yeah, he slapped Jonah Williams a little too strong on the high five
Yeah.
after the celebration. Who knows?
Or the
Keep an
flicking
eye
of the
on it.
wrist on the touchdown pass. I mean, other than that, didn't see much. What a year he's had, though, Tonga Bailoa. Wide open out of the backfield is Hayden for an Arkansas first down. As the Razorbacks continue to get some chunk plays on this Alabama defense, that's 20 more yards.
And that's the second time they've allowed a running back to free release out of the backfield, and nobody was there to cover him. The first time Mac Wilson was late, and there was a little bit of a rub offensively. That time they just busted it, and Patrick Surtain, the freshman corner, crashed inside. As you can see, Tua Tagovailoa returning to his spot on the bench.
So, guys, is this a reason? Is this Alabama having weaknesses on defense or just complacency because you're playing an Arkansas team that's 1-4? Answer that after this play. Story going deep, and it's pulled in at the 20-yard line by Deion Stewart against Trayvon Diggs for 37 yards.
What a great catch. Climbing the ladder. And Stewart working against really tight coverage by Diggs. Well played. I mean, a great catch and throw is going to beat great coverage every single time. Good job of making the most of the contested catch opportunity. Now they got Stewart in the backfield motioning out.
And Arkansas has already got over 200 yards of offense. Kind of a jump ball there to Mike Woods on a short route.
That's unbelievable right there. That play, I know it doesn't seem like much. Mike Woods is trying to run a fade. He's trying to release. But because of the press coverage of Trayvon Diggs, he's so strong and sudden at the point. As soon as Story took that drop, he was only 3 yards downfield.
Yeah, that's holding, though. I mean, he's got a hold of his jersey.
No, it's within the confine. That's perfectly fine. It's bang, bang play. You have a second to be able to jam him. Just goes to show you how quick and sudden and physical these corners are.
Here's a swing pass to Hayden. Gets a block inside the 15, close to another first down. All right, Tom and Greg, you guys can jump in here now on Alabama's defense. Is this a reason to be concerned of you, Nick Saban, or is this complacency?
No, I mean, they are going against a pretty good offensive mind that's going to find some vacancies. The one thing they've really struggled with are misdirections with tight ends kind of leaking over the middle and running backs free releasing out of the backfield. They allowed one big run to Rakeem Boyd on the left side, but for the most part, I mean, it's just Arkansas making a couple key plays.
Story's thrown for 170 yards in this game as Boyd, boy, there's kind of an awkward play there, and a penalty flag is down.
And that was designed. We're going to get a face mask here, too, on the tackle, but that was designed.
Tell you what that looked like was Philly
Yep.
in the Super Bowl, except there was no one there to pitch to on the reverse.
2 fouls by the defense on the play. Offside in the neutral zone at the snap, number 14. His penalty is declined. Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Number 99 of the offense. Penalty's half the distance to the goal line from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
You see Raekwon Davis taking ownership there, and he knew it right away.
Yeah, so you see, I mean, just the quarterback motion away, just like they did in the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, except there's nobody home to give the pitch back, and for Foles to leak into the flat, Story was blocking on the edge. So a bit of a unique play, tried to trick Alabama. Alabama not falling for it, but grasping the face mask. Give them half the distance to the goal and a fresh set of downs.
It's interesting, too. They're bringing in the backup quarterback, Cole Kelly, at 6'7", 260. Ty Story turned it over down here the last time Arkansas was inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, it makes sense. The bigger body, the guy that can really take the blows from Alabama's defense.
And it's a design quarterback run. Kelly puts his head down, holds onto the ball, and he's down to the 3-yard line. He started 4 games last year, a couple of games this year. Where's Ryan Mallett's old number? He's as tall as Ryan. He's just a little wider than Mallett was.
A little?
And he's lost 15 pounds. That's what's amazing. I mean, he's down weight from where he was a year ago, but Cole Kelly, not the most explosive runner, but a guy that can push the pile. That's why I was surprised the last time Arkansas was down here, they opted to run it with Ty Storey as opposed to Cole Kelly, who's more capable of absorbing those big hits by Alabama's defense.
Give Chad Morris credit for making the in-game change. Here he is again. Oh, it was a jump pass version, and it's a dart for a touchdown to O'Grady.
When you're 6'7", you can see over everything. And this was actually pretty well covered. It's man coverage defensively by Alabama, and you have Deontay Thompson just working against the bigger O'Grady. A nice location on the throw, too, by Cole Kelly. The jump pass is usually wide open. That time covered up. But a nice throw and a nice answer by Arkansas's offense.
And I wonder if Cole Kelly after the game will say, that's my version of the jump pass because that's as high as I can jump. Chad Morris, creative play call for the touchdown. Watching the SEC on ESPN. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luginbill in Fayetteville. You can stream college football all season long on ESPN+. Start your free trial today by downloading the ESPN app or visiting ESPNplus.com. So many events, all sports, all kinds of good stuff at ESPN+. Arkansas with 220 yards of total offense on this Alabama defense. And they muff the kick. It's scooped up by Robinson. And he is grounded at the 25-yard line. This season, Taco Bell is celebrating student sections and passionate fans like these by awarding the best student section of the year. The Arkansas student section is already on the national watch list. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete. Nick Saban had some words for the Alabama student section this week.
He did. He did. Not happy with the complacency that Alabama's student section displayed, but I got to give credit to this Arkansas student section, man. This is a very underrated venue. It gets really loud in here, and they get fired up when Alabama comes to town.
Harris, good balance, puts his hand down and gets out to the 33-yard line. Let's listen in to what Nick Saban had to say this week about the Alabama student section.
I can honestly say I was a little disappointed that there weren't more students at the last game. And I think we're trying to address that. I don't think they're entitled to anything either. And me personally, I think it ought to be first come, first serve. And if they don't want to come to the games, they don't have to come. But I'm sure there's enough people around here that like to go to the games and would like for them to come too because they support the players.
Harris gets the first down. Guys, is this really about the student section, or is this about Nick Saban trying to find ways to keep his team sharp? He doesn't want his players to get complacent, and if the fans are not into it, then maybe he's worried the players won't be if they're playing an inferior opponent.
Completely. I mean, you respect every opponent and respect the atmosphere. It's definitely a way to kind of speak to his team through the media. He does it all the time and usually doesn't take the most direct route, but there it was pretty obvious.
Oh my goodness, Damian Harris given a lane between the tackles that you could have driven a bus through, and he's out to the 40 for 18 yards. What was the opponent that you said that you were worried about when you were playing it out?
But what Western. It was Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I remember, every week Nick Saban would tell you, you better do this, you better do that. If you don't do this, we're going to lose. Western Kentucky could be coming to town. I'm 10-0, and I'm scared to death, thinking we better play well today or they could get us.
Two obviously is okay. Back in at quarterback after going to the tent for a little bit. Harris to the 34-yard line.
No, don't you get the sense that Alabama at moments just decides to say, enough being cute. Let's just line up, put them in a phone booth, and prove our mettle. And that's exactly what this drive is all about.
Yeah, and honestly, Tom, they just say, hey, we've thrown it. We got the passing game going.
Yep.
No problems there. One note, we haven't worked today. We haven't run the ball real well. Let's get it going here. That's what they say before each drive.
And you know what's coming off that? Play action. And Tua going up high to make the catch is the true freshman Jalen Waddle. First down in the red zone. Adnan, take it away.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. An update right now. What's happening at Red River Showdown? Sam Ehlinger takes himself as Texas now has the lead. 24-10. Biggest deficit the Sooners have faced all year, Dave.
Wow. Only 10 points for that Oklahoma offense as Tua keeps it himself and picks up just a couple yards.
And definitely the biggest challenge that Oklahoma's faced from a defensive standpoint. And Tua just ran the ball on the zone read and walking a little gingerly.
He planted Greg a little awkwardly from down at my vantage point, and you could tell even before he hit the ground, something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Sophomore, went to the same school in Hawaii as Marcus Mariota. Mariota was a mentor of Tua's. And he throws a strike inside the 5 to Waddle. It's another Alabama first down.
And as soon as they get that running game going, here comes naked. As soon as they get the downhill running game going, here comes RPO. You can never be right, and you can never guess against Alabama. They have every package you could imagine.
Harris straight ahead, touchdown Bama.
And they honestly make it look easy. I mean, they operate with such efficiency. It's just remarkable. On the ground, through the air.
You asked Mike Loxley, the offensive coordinator on the field before the game, you said, are you unstoppable? Or can you be stopped? And he said, he kind of paused. He thought about it because I think he wanted to say maybe we're not. But he did say, yeah, we can stop ourselves.
Yeah.
Extra point off the upright. No good. Well, Nick told us last night he's not real thrilled with his specialists, and Bulovas misses the extra point. He had missed 3 field goals this year coming in. All right, so we told you that Tua Tagovailoa is from Hawaii, and there's several quarterbacks that are from Hawaii that now play in the Southeast. 2 in the SEC, Jordan Ta'amu and Tua Tagovailoa. Just to give you an idea how long it actually is to get from Hawaii to Alabama, Mississippi, and then to UCF. Kenzie Milton at Central Florida.
And you can make the case. I mean, Ta'amu's had a nice year for sure. You can make the case that Tua Tagovailoa and Mackenzie Milton, Tua's the best quarterback so far through 5 games in the Power 5, and Mackenzie Milton is the best quarterback in the Group of 5. So Mackenzie Milton, I know a lot of people consider him to be a bit of a Heisman contender as well. Just not sure how he'll be able to unseat guys like Tua Tagovailoa and Dwayne Haskins if they continue to play as well as they have so far.
Tua's brother, who is living now in the state of Alabama, Talia, he's committed and will play for Alabama next year. So both Tagovailoas will be here. Let's check in with Adnan.
Both Tagovailoas. I want to see 2 Dave Pashes in the same place. Coming up, Lexus Halftime Report, Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, and me will be talking about this Red River Showdown. Is Oklahoma in trouble? Plus, Michigan State right now, they're trying to survive a scare as well. Dave, back to you and Greg. We'll see you at the half.
All right, Adnan. Be interesting to hear what Coach Saban has to say here. Can't be pleased with his defense, but offensively, I don't know if there's any team on their schedule, at least that we know of right now, on their schedule, meaning the teams before the college football playoff, that can stop this attack with Tua at the helm. Story in trouble, just throws it away as he was about to be sacked by Christian Miller. There was a receiver in the area. The officials are talking about it. He's still in the pocket. Story's pointing, saying there was a receiver in the area.
Yeah, the line judge sees O'Grady, number 85, immediately, was all on top of it. Good call by the officiating crew right there.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, as he's trying to throw it, I mean, O'Grady's on the left side of your screen, and he's trying to run back to the football. Had they called intentional grounding right there, I wouldn't have been surprised, to be honest with you.
Story fakes the swing pass, has a ton of time, now just takes off and pushed out a play by Dylan Moses at the 29-yard line. So the Alabama defense came in number 5 in points allowed, giving up 13 on the season. They've given up 14 today. They're 23rd in yards allowed, and it looks like Arkansas is going to exceed the amount that Bama gives up per game. And then you look at third down conversions, 26% coming in, and Arkansas 3 of 5.
And that's what the big question mark was coming into the season. It wasn't Alabama's offense. You knew they'd be prolific, regardless of who the quarterback was going to be, but they were replacing a lot of key pieces and a lot of veteran leadership on that defensive side, and they've been pretty solid in the first month.
Pressure on Story, and he was trying to throw it to his back, and it was knocked down by Buggs. He was trying to hit Hayden out of the backfield, and he had Surtain coming on a corner blitz there.
So Alabama's done a nice job, Greg, of kind of keying their pass rush to the drop of the quarterback now so that they don't get burned in the screen game that plagued them here in the first 2 quarters.
Yeah, and they understand, too, that Arkansas has really tried to make an emphasis of working the middle of the field.
Yep.
And they've kind of buttoned that up as well. And Alabama now with the chance to work on some of that situational awareness for Tua. 2-minute drive.
They went 99 yards in 2 minutes earlier. Poor punt here by Bauer. Oof. True freshman. And that's not going to help Arkansas's cause. Let's take a look at this week's AP rankings brought to you by Capital One after that 31-yard punt. Oklahoma's in the red zone right now against Texas, trailing by 14. West Virginia up big on Kansas and all the other games involving top 10 teams later today. What about LSU, Florida? What do you like?
Man, that's a tough one. I mean, it really is. I'm leaning Florida. And it's entirely because of Dan Mullen and the X factor there. I mean, I look at the personnel. Personnel favors LSU. Look at the consistency, favors LSU. I look at the home field, that favors Florida. I look at the head coach, Dan Mullen, man, he has a way about getting his team ready to play in big environments.
Tagovailoa off play action. Judy wide open, trying to outrun the defense. He might do it. Inside the 20-yard line, they won't catch him. Touchdown Tide, 60 yards.
Well, it's tough to work 2-minute and 2-minute offense when you score on the first play of your 2-minute. I mean, Jerry Jeudy just
and
hits
how about
the
this
Jets.
here? You had 17 touchdown passes in 2009. You won the national championship. It's October 6th, and
Yes.
Tua has tied your mark.
That is very reasonable.
How many interceptions do you have that year? Because Tua has 0.
He's on pace to beat me there, too, I can promise you. He's been terrific. Just a little, I mean, it's nothing much to it. I mean, it's just a simple little short slant off of an RPO action. And this is just not about X's and O's. It's not about diagramming or scheming. This is strictly about personnel. And Jerry Jeudy is better than the 2 defenders that were chasing after him, and Santos Ramirez and Cameron Curl, the safeties. Get one-on-one coverage. He goes over and says, "Hey, coach, appreciate it. Yeah, good work."
You know, Greg, it's amazing when you talk about a personnel mismatch. Look at the gap between Jerry Jeudy off the plant foot and the defender on the slant. Now, if you miss that throw, you got to go sit on the bench.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And honestly, even when it's close, like if there's a defender close within a yard or two when he catches the ball, the immediate acceleration, the way he accelerates through the catch is so unique.
Touchback, it'll come out to the 25 for Arkansas. Monday Night Football this week. Boy, last week's game, how good was that? Patrick Mahomes taking the NFL by storm. Drew Brees going for a record tonight on Monday night as the Saints take on Washington, 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific on ESPN. You can also watch it on ESPN2, simulcast in Spanish, and also on the ESPN app. Drew Brees trying to pass Brett Favre and Peyton Manning to be the all-time passing leader. It's amazing to think back when Brees was in San Diego and they drafted Phillip Rivers and Brees got hurt, some wondered, will he ever be the same? Who will take Drew Brees? Well, Sean Payton took him, and that combination has been record-setting.
And how about the fact that Nick Saban was trying to get Drew Brees to Miami when he was the head coach of the Dolphins, trying to get Drew Brees to Miami, and he couldn't pass the physical exam coming back from that torn shoulder in the offseason. So as a result, they go with Dante Culpepper. Culpepper has a really bad year. They go 7-9. Nick Saban says, you know what, I'm going back to college. Next thing you know, he's back in Tuscaloosa with 5 additional championships to his name.
Fate has a wicked sense of humor.
And who did Saban tell us last night Tua reminds him of? Drew Brees, because of his instincts and accuracy. Here's Mike Woods getting a first down. There's a penalty marker down. That's pretty high praise to say that. I know some people look at a quarterback that's 6'1", and so you're trying to find guys that are 6 feet 6'1" to compare it to.
Eligible receiver downfield, number 9 of the offense. It was a slot receiver on the line of scrimmage that was covered up on the right-hand side by the outside receiver.
But when you're
5-yard
talking
penalty.
about a quarterback's accurate, I mean, Drew Brees is one of the most accurate and instinctual quarterbacks we've ever seen in the National Football League.
He is. And Drew Brees has that gunslinger mentality, too, where he doesn't care about the situation. He doesn't care if it's 1st and 10, 2nd and 1, he's going to throw it yard. That's what he does. And that's what Tua is. I mean, Tua actually has a little bit of Brett Favre in him, too, with the way he can create on his own and is just fearless in the pocket. So I can see the comparisons there.
He's thrown 11 passes in this game. He's got 3 touchdowns. Here's Boyd out past the 30.
And many people have compared Tua, and I think probably because he's a lefty, to Steve Young, which I get it. I totally understand it. But I remember the first time I went to practice, his first practice at Alabama, and he was anticipating throws in windows that you just never see from a true freshman. And it's just amazing to see what he's finally done now with a full off season to work on his craft and become more comfortable within the scheme.
I don't know if he's the runner that Steve Young was. He was pretty good.
He's capable.
Back in the day.
See, I think he can be.
Capable.
I think he can be.
Do you, Tom?
Yeah.
Yep.
If they choose to utilize him in that manner, there's no doubt. But they don't need to because they've got number 2 to take care of that and add another dimension, provide defenses a whole other package to have to prepare for.
All right. Based on what Alabama has on the schedule, the teams that we know are on the schedule for the Tide, who is good enough defensively to even slow down? Forget winning a game, but as you look at Froholt, offensive lineman shaken up for Arkansas, who can just keep the Alabama offense in check?
Honestly, I've yet to see anybody that can. I really mean that. I've studied LSU really, really closely, studied them this week, tried to understand if they played man coverage with Greedy Williams and Christian Fulton, one of the best cornerback tandems. Grant Delpit's very instinctive safety. I just don't see anybody that can hold them in check defensively. It's going to be entirely about Alabama. If Alabama goes out and plays their A game, they're going to win the game. It's end of story. If they go out and play their B game, they open the door. But even very few teams can beat them even when Alabama has their B game. You have C game, that's another level. You turn the football over, you get sloppy, you give up big plays defensively, then it becomes a little different story. But there's no one I've seen that can match up at all 5 positions that could potentially catch it and rush the passer consistently enough to fluster Tua Tagovailoa.
Here's 3rd and 3 for Story. Let's see if they just run the ball here and get to halftime. Story rolling out. And it's incomplete, going to be 4th down. Tom, I'll ask you the same question I did Greg. Is there anybody on the schedule you think that can slow down LSU, Auburn? Are they good enough defensively to slow down that offense to stay in the game?
Well, they're the only 2 teams I see on the slate that has the personnel that matches up the closest. And that doesn't give you all the answers, but it gives you a chance because these other teams right now that Alabama's facing, they have such personnel advantages that it doesn't matter what you do scheme-wise. And I've always felt with Alabama's personnel, if you're going to beat them, they're going to have to do something to help you beat them.
Wada was anticipating, did you see that? He was anticipating them kicking away from him. He was in the middle of the field, so he took off before the kick. On the snap, he ran over here because they didn't want to put it in Waddle's hands because of how dynamic he is with the football. True freshman is 5'10", 177 pounds. And is already a great playmaker. But that was interesting just kind of watching him handle that.
You know, Greg, isn't Alabama to me right now, it's a terrible term to say that they're bored, but they're like the brilliant kid in class that hasn't taken the AP test yet, and he needs to move up into the AP courses. The problem with Alabama is there's no AP course. They are the AP course. So, to your point, Dave and Greg, who is it that can create that AP type of challenge?
Tua in the pocket. Ball is batted around, incomplete. Tua got hit, and they ruled that the hand was going forward. Randy Ramsey was back there, and then Armon Watts knocked the ball out. Now we get some pushing and shoving, but the hand was going forward when Watts hit Tua's arm.
One of the few times you see Tua just kind of lose track of how long he's been standing in the pocket. And you see the ball moving forward there.
Yeah, it was actually Watts that deflected the ball. Ramsey was the one back on the quarterback.
Yeah, rarely does he not get back and get that ball out, Greg.
Yeah, that ball is usually coming out within the blink of an eye, but right there he kind of lost track of how much time he had. There's guys on scholarship on the defensive line, too. Those guys are pretty good. Randy Ramsey being back. Definitely.
They're going to look at this further, I think. I think that's why we're stopping play here. John McDade, our referee, having a conversation with Chad Morris here. Unless Chad Morris called a timeout to challenge that. You know, you always talk about ways to speed the game up. I think if you just got rid of reviewing every play and just did coaches' challenges and don't stop the clock on first downs, basically NFL rules, we'd have 3-hour games.
It would be, I would enjoy it, honestly. I like the way the NFL does the challenge policy, but this would be inside of 2 minutes anyways.
Challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete forward pass.
Yep.
So even if it was NFL rules, it would be up to
but
the video replay review.
But that's fine in the last 2 minutes. But there's no reason why you can't have coaches' challenges throughout the game. Boy, it looks like that hand is going forward, don't you think?
It does to me, yeah. It definitely looks like that hand is coming forward. Does the ball move a little bit in his hand as it's coming forward? It's tough to tell when he loses
After video
grip.
review, the ruling on the field of an incomplete forward pass is confirmed. Second down.
Just not enough evidence to overturn anything there. Right? Ball's moving forward, hands moving forward. Just a little bit late for Ramsey coming off the edge.
Tua Tagovailoa with his second incompletion of the first half. He has more touchdown passes than incompletions in the first half. 3 touchdowns, 2 incompletions.
He's averaging about 30 yards an attempt, too, which is remarkable. He had only 11 attempts, I believe, prior to that last incompletion for over 330 yards.
And they're just going to run it here. Jacobs up to the 42-yard line. Will Alabama snap it one more time, or is that it? Inside 10 seconds to go, and that's it. Another impressive showing by Nick Saban's offense. 41 first half points. 463 yards in the first half against an SEC team on the road. All right, let's go down to the field and check in with Tom Luginbill.
Coach, where are your concerns on defense, and how do you address them in the locker room?
We're making a lot of mental errors. You know, they're putting a lot of empty, a lot of back motion. We made several mental errors in coverage. You know, they're empty in the backfield running a quarterback draw. So, you know, our guys get a little confused, and, you know, that's been our issue so far this year. So we just got to get them adjusted up here in the second half and try to play a little better.
You guys have been very proficient in the passing game here in the first half. What would you like to see out of your run game in the second half?
Well, you know, they play a lot of sync. They play a lot of stuff where you're going to throw the ball. So if they're going to play it, we're going to throw it. So it don't matter. I don't care how we score. Do you get points for running more than passing?
Nope.
All right. So don't matter to me.
All right, thanks, guys.
So he's not going to call off the dogs at any point, it seems like, then, in the second half. 41-14 is the score. Let's go to Adnan, Joey, and Jesse in the studio.
Hey, he's not going to call off the dogs. He's calling out the hogs. Dave Pasch on your favorite ESPN networks using Xfinity X1. Show me college football.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Xfinity. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luginbill back in Fayetteville, where it's all Alabama. 4 touchdown passes for Tua Tagovailoa and only 2 incompletions in the first half. Bama leading 41-14. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look here at this stat sheet, Mac. 31 plays, 463 yards. That's 15 yards a play.
Yeah.
1 third down. No punts. They were stopped on 4th down, but that's the only time they were stopped.
That thing could decombust like at any point. Yeah. It's unbelievable. I mean, you watch this team, the way they operate, the efficiency that they operate with, it's remarkable. And it's all because of Tua Tagovailoa's ability to stretch the field and the plethora of wide receivers and weapons that he has at his disposal. Not just at wide receiver, not just at running back. They also have a tight end in Irv Smith, who's been outstanding. This offense is starting to get into unstoppable territory. They're really starting to starting to turn into that. It's really remarkable to watch.
You mentioned Irv Smith. He, on the first play, scored a touchdown. Originally, they had Tua with 3 touchdown passes. As they whiff on the kickoff, the ball fell off the tee. There is some wind down on the field. They changed that catch fumble, which originally was not ruled a passing touchdown, but if it starts as a pass, statistically, NCAA rules, it's considered a pass, even if there's a fumble recovered by an offensive player for a touchdown, which is what happened. So they marked it down as a 12-yard touchdown pass, even though it was a 41-yard play.
That's wild. That is wild. There was a great job, a heads-up play by Henry Ruggs, too, to chase the ball. Always be chasing the ball. If you're a young player, you're on defense or on offense, chase the ball until the whistle's blown. Henry Ruggs did so and was rewarded as the ball bounced into his belly for a touchdown.
So now they have to get a holder here for Alabama on the kickoff because of the wind.
He looks really comfortable, doesn't he?
Don't kick my finger. Don't kick my finger.
That's Ronnie Clark. How many times has he held in his life? This will be a touchback, come out to the 25.
Well, Alabama's offense, we mentioned how difficult it is to defend because they can beat you in so many ways. Here's the outside zone play to the left-hand side. That opens up some of their naked work. Fake the outside zone, you find Jerry Jeudy over the middle. They can also beat you inside as Damian Harris goes north and south for a nice gain. Off that, they give you the RPO. At the end of the first half, it's a little RPO. You hit Jerry Jeudy in stride on the slant. He's in one-on-one coverage. It's one thing that these Alabama receivers have done a remarkable job of, yards after catch and being explosive when they get the ball in their hands.
Now Arkansas was able to move the ball on Alabama in the first half, but not on that play as Boyd has stood up for a 2-yard loss by Williams.
No, Greg, to your point, all the different ways Alabama can come up with moving the football and scoring points. But Nick Saban going into the locker room actually joked with me about the run game when I asked if he wanted a little more emphasis on the ground. They really had one series in the second quarter that they focused on running the football. And I think in the second half here, even if the numbers are not ideal, you've got to challenge your offensive line, get your back some reps, and get some toughness back into your run game on the ground and push people around.
Story steps up in the pocket, and it's juggled, but caught for a first down. Cantrell on the catch. Let's look at our first half stats brought to you by Mahindra. We mentioned that Arkansas did move the ball in Alabama.
Yeah, they did.
236 yards, Greg, and they fumbled, turned it over on the 1-yard line.
Yeah, they also fumbled on their first drive of the game, which resulted in points for Alabama as well. So Arkansas, if they look at the first half, they can say, we made a lot of mistakes, but there were some really bright spots as well.
Yeah, because that fumble that you talked about that came in the opening drive happened in Alabama territory.
Correct. They've had a good plan. Chad Morris, new head coach here at Arkansas, brilliant offensive mind. They've had a good plan for Ty Storey, the quarterback.
Here's Boyd, able to slip a couple tackles and eventually goes down, short gain. McKinney cleans him up.
Greg, not only has Arkansas had a good plan, but it looks like they've kind of started to find the right mix of the personnel they want on the field at the right time. Now, they're without running back Devwah Whaley, but what they get out of Rakeem Boyd, having O'Grady, 85, the big tight end, come into the fold last week and now seeing continued development with him, the right guys seem to be in the mix for what their current personnel is to give them a chance.
Yeah, and they're still trying to find playmakers at wide receiver, but you think Michael Woods, number 8, the freshman, he might become that guy.
Design quarterback run for Story, pushed back by Davis and Anthony Jennings.
Big point, though, for Arkansas as they continue throughout the season. They have to be better along the offensive line. That's an area that has kind of plagued them the last few years. They've been charged with losing weight, becoming more athletic, and they've moved some pieces around. Yelda Froholt went from center to left guard. Cleary goes in there. Colton Jackson, now the left tackle, is fully healthy. The right side has had some ups and downs, but that's a group that needs to continue to improve as the season goes along.
3rd and 7. Story in trouble. Gets out of there and takes a shot from Carter, but looks like he got a first down. There is a flag down. Oh, it's really philosophically a 180 from what Brett Bielema was doing offensively, right? In terms of Chad Morris's offense.
It is. And this is the second 180 they've had in the last 8 years, too, because it was a 180 from Bobby Petrino to Brett Bielema. And let's look. We're going to look at this.
Well, they haven't announced what the penalty was.
The rolling on the field is targeting against number 5 of the defense. The runner was sliding and therefore defenseless. There was forcible contact to the head and neck area. 15-yard penalty. And an automatic
was he
first
sliding
down.
though?
This play is now under video review.
See, that's what would make it confusing. The runner doesn't give himself up.
Right.
But this is definitely forcible contact.
Yes.
This is absolutely forcible contact to the head or neck area. The question is whether or not Ty Storey is sliding and therefore defenseless.
So hard to hold up if you're Carter there because you don't know if the quarterback's going to slide. Right? I mean, you're got to guess there because if you think, oh, he's sliding and he doesn't, now he may go for a touchdown because you broke down and didn't make an aggressive play on the ball carrier.
Yeah, that's impossible on Carter. It really is. I mean, there's
After
nothing he
video
can
review,
do.
there is no foul for targeting. Fourth down.
I think that's a right
It's
call.
the correct call.
Yep.
Just because if you look at Ty Storey, you don't know if he's sliding. It's one thing if it's an obvious baseball slide and he goes in and he's down with his feet first, but he almost just kind of fell into Carter. So I agree with the call. Don't penalize Carter the end of this game and the first half of next week's game against Missouri because of an unfortunate situation that he was put in.
And it is a first down for Arkansas.
Almost looked like it was a slide with his helmet and shoulders forward.
Right.
You know, that was awkward.
It was awkward. And they've set the change to be a first down, but the official, John McDade, said fourth down on the field.
Yeah, it is going to be fourth down. They got to get the chains right.
Yeah, so
because it's where the ball
replay
is
review showed that the ball
on the start of the
carrier
slide.
was down at the 45.5-yard line. Therefore, the ball is short of the line to gain. Fourth down.
Yeah, because again, it's where the ball is when. Well, they said it wasn't a slide though, but still, it's where the ball is. You spot it on the ball. You normally on a slide, you start it where the guy starts a slide where the ball is. Either way, it's fourth down, and Arkansas will go for it down 41-14.
Don't blame them. They need to play conservative at this point.
And Storey's going to pitch it to Boyd, and he will not get it. Dropped in the backfield by Isaiah Buggs. And there's another injured offensive lineman for Arkansas. And it's Brian Wallace, their starting right tackle. Chad Morris frustrated with his ball club, not able to get that first down. Unexpected outcome brought to you by ExxonMobil. The Tua Tagovailoa story was made for the ExxonMobil unexpected outcome. Coming in the second half of the College Football Playoff National Championship game and winning it for the Tide. A 41-yard touchdown pass to Devontae Smith in overtime as Alabama won Nick Saban's fifth national championship at Alabama, second in the last 3 years. Here's Damian Harris breaking free. Finally brought down at the 26-yard line. And Tagovailoa with 18 touchdown passes on the season, no interceptions, 4 today. He is the first Power 5 quarterback with a first half of 300-plus passing yards and 4 touchdowns since Patrick Mahomes, who did it 2 years ago against Baylor.
That's
Mahomes,
amazing.
right now, the NFL story, and Tua, the biggest story in college football from an individual standpoint.
No doubt.
Tua off a pump fake, going for Devontae Smith. He was out of bounds. Great catch, but he was out of play and complete.
Yeah, and what's fascinating about Tua is just how comfortable he is in the pocket. I mean, this one, just threw it a little bit late, didn't have anything, tried to work something underneath. It was covered, so he had to throw one-on-one, give his guy a chance, just not enough room left on the field. But Tua's efficiency in operating this offense, getting the ball out quick, knowing where to go with the football. If there's a receiver open, he almost always finds him. Just doesn't pass up completions. He's been so good this year.
Another huge hole for Damian Harris. And a fist fight with the DBs at the 10, and Harris wins that one down to the 7, first and goal.
No, it's interesting, guys. If you look at Tua Tagovailoa, see the black brace on his right knee? He was not wearing that in the first half. when he got tweaked a little bit on that run in the red zone at the end of the second quarter. Just maybe giving him a little more stability in the locker room here coming out of the third quarter.
All right, Tom, thanks. Harris gets the carry. Tom, you are obviously ESPN's national recruiting director. We mentioned in the first half that Tua's brother is committed to Alabama and will be with the Tide next year. How do they compare?
Very similar in terms of skill set. Now, Tua is not a big physical specimen. He's big in the lower body, but he's not overly tall. Talia, his younger brother, is actually shorter than he is, a little bit more diminutive in stature, a little more Kyler Murray-like in his build, but you're going to get a similar type of release, ability to get the ball out. He's extremely accurate.
Damian Harris again on second down and goal, moves the pile all the way down to the 2 before they blow it dead. Dre Greenlaw in there on the hit.
No, we were talking about those Hawaii players in the first half. Did you know that college football rosters, 0.6% are made up of players from Hawaii? 0.6. And we've seen Mackenzie Milton. We've seen now Tua. Saw Marcus Mariota, Jordan Ta'amu. I mean, that's pretty remarkable, just that position alone.
Yep, no doubt. I mean, really, really impressive group of players that have come from Hawaii over the last few years. I gotta say, Mariota was special, but Tua appears to be the same.
Harris on third down and did not get in. And now for coaches, it's another excuse to go to Hawaii, because for recruiting, you go find the next Tua Tagovailoa.
You know what, though, Dave? Tua, you're not going to believe this, took an unofficial early visit to Alabama, attended their camp, and participated all 3 days. How about that?
Yeah. He knew what he wanted. Alabama going to go for it on fourth down. They were stopped on fourth down in the first half when they had to get about a half a yard. 3 men in the backfield. Fourth if you include Tua. Up over the top is Harris, and he did not get in. That's twice now. Arkansas still fighting.
Did the ball cross the plane? He goes vertical.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
They'll look at this. I mean, that looked pretty obvious, didn't it?
It did. I mean, it looked like as he went vertical, that right arm extended. All it takes is the nose of the football to break the plane.
This play is now under video review.
It looks like it did
in
that first angle.
But has to be indisputable video evidence. We saw an overturn in the first half on one that looked a little questionable. Didn't seem to be beyond all doubt. That one looks like it's beyond any doubt. A touchdown, but we'll see.
After video to review, the ball did break.
Yeah, there you go.
The goal line plane, it is a touchdown.
Seemed pretty obvious. So Damian Harris into the end zone for the second time today, and third on the season.
Yeah, it was pretty clear, right, as you can see. I mean, there's the plane right there, and there's the ball. Clearly crossed the plane. So a good job by these officials taking a look at it and coming to a quick conclusion on what was a pretty obvious call.
So it's 47-14 Alabama. Bulovas missed an extra point in the first half and nails this one, though. 48-14 tie.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
A tradition since 1905, the Arkansas Senior Walk, honoring all Razorback graduates. And it stretches over 5 miles, contains the names of more than 140,000 graduates, including our very own Craig Allen Short, who is the technical director of our crew.
We love you, Craig. We believe you. We know you graduated from Arkansas now.
I didn't until
we believe
today.
you.
We're proud of you,
before
Craig.
today, but now we have evidence. Replay evidence confirms what our producer was telling us, that Craig did graduate.
Still not sure it's indisputable, but...
And another touchback, it will come out to the 25, and let's check in with Adnan.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. This time I want to update you on what's happening with Maryland, Michigan in Ann Arbor. delayed due to weather, and now Wolverines are ready to roll as that's Ben Mason here pounding it in. By the way, Texas also leading Oklahoma 31-24, that Red River Showdown. Michigan's up 10-7. And speaking of the Longhorns and Sooners, Kyler Murray to Marquise Brown. Third touchdown pass, at least 75 yards for Murray, most in the FBS. Here come the Sooners, Dave.
I think they're all to Hollywood too, Adnan. We had one in the Iowa State game, the one today, and I thought against UCLA he had another one. It was 70 yards or longer. On the rollout, Ty Story throws, and it is caught by LaMichael Petway. Okay, time for our Aflac trivia question. Aflac! Alabama's scoring margin is plus 206. I had to stumble through that because 206, 5 games into the year. It's the second highest in SEC history through 5 games. Can you name which team has the highest?
I have an idea, but
Me too.
Throw it out there. Come on.
I'm going to say Florida 2008. Or 2009, excuse me. Florida 2009.
I might go Florida back mid-90s.
You got to even go back further than that, boys.
Wow.
Why do you know the answer?
Well, because I have the card in front of me that has the answer as Petway is out to the 33. So you got to go all the way back to 1979. The Alabama Crimson Tide, what undefeated, beat Arkansas in the Sugar Bowl to win the national championship. They were plus 210 through 5 games. That's our Aflac trivia question.
1979. Stedman Shealy. Major Ogilvy.
You read about this team, right?
I was not alive. but yes, of course, if you go to Alabama, you must know the history.
Juggled by O'Grady, then he hangs on. There's a flag in the backfield. Bodies are everywhere.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 92 of the defense, contacting the helmet of the passer. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
It's on Quinnen Williams.
He said contact to the helmet of the passer. So it's not egregious, but you can't hit the quarterback in the head as he's releasing the football. Good call by the official.
So Williams will come to the Alabama sideline after that. And Arkansas in Alabama territory, where they've been a handful of times in this game. And look at the running lane for Hayden. Whacked at the 33, but after a 17-yard run. They've been able to move the ball on the Crimson Tide on the ground.
Yeah, Arkansas has actually played pretty well offensively. The 2 fumbles have been absolutely critical, but they've been pretty consistent in being able to move it. They've been able to run the ball effectively. They've had a couple nice opportunities through the air. Arkansas is going to be able to leave this stadium today thinking, we found ourselves offensively the last 6 quarters, because they've played pretty dang well against A&M and today against Alabama.
Story off play action, has the throwback. Hayden, and the pass didn't get there. It was broken up by Deontay Thompson at the last second.
This looks like a touchdown. Deontay Thompson works this way and then all of a sudden recovers somehow, some way. Look at how much ground he has to cover and how quickly he has to cover it.
Wow.
Not only does he almost intercept it, but knocking it down. That is in the middle of the field on a throwback with full action and flow to the right. He works back to the left, finds the uncovered guy, and breaks on it. So explosive at safety.
Off play action. Catch made by Petway, brought down by Surtain. They've had so many good safeties at Alabama. Deontay Thompson, is he the best player on this defense?
Quinnen Williams is the best player.
Okay.
He has been unbelievable so far this year. Quinnen Williams, he's honestly, the game that he played against Ole Miss, it was maybe the best game I've seen by a defensive tackle since Ed Oliver against Louisville 2 years ago. But Deontay Thompson, in a back end that had some question marks coming in, he's provided a spark. Him and Xavier McKinney, the other safety, they've both played really, really well around some inexperienced guys.
They bring in the 260-pound quarterback Cole Kelly to run it here on 3rd down, and he's able to stretch forward and move the chains. Take a look at Todd McShay's top prospects for Alabama. He's got Jonah Williams, the left tackle, as 10th overall player. So he doesn't have Deontay Thompson, who's a junior, and Quinnen Williams, a sophomore, on that list.
tell you the other guy that's going to be on that list pretty shortly is Trevon Diggs as a corner. I think he's got a tremendous upside as a perimeter player with length, long arms, all of those critical factors you want. He's going to be a guy that's going to move up boards.
Yeah, you had Raekwon Davis on there. He's a junior, so you imagine at some point we'll start to see some of the movement for those guys that are not seniors. Here's a pitch to Boyd. By the way, I don't know if you guys knew this one. Tom, maybe I'll throw another trivia question your way, see if you can do this, okay?
All right, thank you, Dave.
There have been two, speaking of draft picks, 2 quarterbacks that have played for Nick Saban in Alabama who have been drafted. Can you name the 2?
Yeah, Greg McElroy and A.J. McCarron.
Okay, there you go. Can you name the rounds?
Greg McElroy was in the 37th round.
Subtract 30, but close. Yeah, close 30.
What was AJ, 4th or 5th?
I think it was 5th round.
5th, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know it was around. I want to say late 4th, maybe early 5th. I can't remember.
Broadway Greg.
On the rollout, Story, and it's almost picked off by McKinney. Incomplete.
Okay.
This Alabama defense, Tom, I mean, they're not as big as they used to be.
No.
Like, the whole group has collectively gotten smaller and longer. And that's kind of what you need to have in today's day and age, because so many teams are in spread, and you can see Tosh Lupoy, who's not only the defensive coordinator, but he's also the recruiting coordinator as well. They've really identified a different type of body than what they traditionally had, and they've been very athletic throughout the course of this season.
Yeah, 2 things. You got to play in space, you got to deal with a mobile quarterback, and actually a third, and that is have to deal with not substituting.
Pressure off the edge on 3rd down. Story gets rid of it to Boyd. And look at Boyd fumble the ball. It's recovered by Froholt, but not afraid of contact there, Boyd. Just got to protect the football.
A lot of pressure.
Greg, watch the hit here on the quarterback, 2 by Buggs. He got him in the head again.
Yeah,
wow.
He did. Man, Alabama's very lucky right there. That should have been a penalty. That should have been a first down. That's roughing the passer. I know it's not a traditional throwing posture, but he's releasing the football and you hit him in the face.
And the field goal is good by Connor Limpert. 48-17. Alabama late 3rd. Texas comes back and scores. Tom Herman getting it going there in Austin.
They really are. I'm pretty impressed by that defense, man. Watched them a few weeks ago. Felt like the light went on when they played against USC, and they've carried over that momentum the last few games.
Out to the 30-yard line is Jacobs and brought down around the 34. Tonight on ABC, a top 25 matchup with Notre Dame and Blacksburg to take on Virginia Tech. 8 Eastern on ABC as well as on the ESPN app. Brian Kelly saying we're going to stay in the locker room during Enter Sandman. We only wanted that because that place, it rocks for a noon game. At night, it's tenfold in Blacksburg.
It gets going, huh?
You got to get there, man. I
got to see.
Come on, dude. You got to get on
to Blacksburg.
I don't really control my Saturday schedule. I would love to go, man. I've heard nothing but incredible things about Blacksburg, and it's going to be one heck of an environment.
Jalen Hurts is in at quarterback. Does Notre Dame win, or does Virginia Tech pull the upset?
I like Notre Dame.
No running room that time. Harris sticks Jacobs for a loss at the 31. Well, Jalen Hurts, who was 26-2 as a starter, 45 career passing touchdowns, 21 career rushing touchdowns, the most ever by an Alabama quarterback. And you guys talked about it earlier. He's an improved passer, but he's behind a star, and Tua Tagovailoa.
And it's not even as much about what Jalen Hurts did. It's entirely about how good Tua Tagovailoa is. They can win with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. It just Tua takes him to another level.
They did. Hurts with a completion. Here's the ovation that Jalen Hurts got when he played his 5th game, which means he's staying. Alabama fans knew when he went in the game that meant, okay, the redshirt rule is not going to apply to Jalen Hurts. He's sticking around. That rule was meant for underclassmen, but And we talked with Nick Saban about this yesterday as they run Jacobs again here, and he doesn't get much, maybe lost a half yard. And Coach told us, we talked about at the SEC meetings how, what happens if veteran players start to transfer, and we're seeing it. It's hurting teams. It hurt Clemson, obviously, with losing a player like Kelly Bryant in case something happens to the starter, which did last week. What do you guys think? Can you tweak the rule, or is this just what it has to be?
It's unforeseen circumstances and a consequence to a rule that's really good. To allow young players to play and develop and to learn on the job and to keep freshmen engaged is so good for the sport and for their development.
Here's Waddle. I know, too, that every circumstance is different, and so there are a lot of people upset with Kelly Bryant, and then there are a lot of people that understand why he did it. How did Alabama convince Jalen Hurts to stay? Why did it work for Hurts to stay and not go somewhere else?
It's a completely different situation than Kelly Bryant because Jalen Hurts has an additional year of eligibility. Jalen Hurts can graduate in December, transfer somewhere if he chooses to, and go be a starter. And Jalen Hurts has already started 29 games in college football. He doesn't need a bunch of more starts to prove that he's capable for NFL scouts.
Hurts, and it's complete to Waddle for a first down on 3rd and 7.
And that's the big aspect, is that Jalen Hurts has really tried to anticipate throws, be better throwing the football. And really, do you need 24 more games to show that you might be able to make the jump and become an NFL player?
Yeah, but for him, maybe that's not what he's looking at. Maybe he just wants to play. I mean, that's what Kelly Bryant said. I just want to play.
Well, he's going to have that chance next year. But he feels like playing here at Alabama is the best place where he'll be surrounded by the most talent and have great coaching in order to become a better player this season.
Devontae Smith shoved out with 12 seconds left to go in the quarter.
I think it's an unfortunate, unintended consequence of a rule that was intended for freshmen only, and it should be for freshmen only. I wish they'd go back to the table on it.
Well, it will be interesting in the offseason when they do address it, because you know that they will. End of 3 here in Fayetteville, all Bama.
ESPN, home of the college football playoff.
Welcome back to Fayetteville. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luginbill. It's all Alabama. 48-17 as we start the 4th. Tomorrow, NFL Sunday NFL Countdown. Odell Beckham Jr. goes off on the Giants' 1-3 start. And A-Rod, Pat Mahomes discuss how A-Rod's influence helped a young Mahomes reach the big leagues. That's on Sunday NFL Countdown tomorrow morning, 10 Eastern on ESPN. Jalen Hurts in at quarterback for the Tide. He's inside the 10-yard line on 1st and goal. Picks up a couple. Hurts in for Tua Tagovailoa, who finishes throwing 13 passes. He completed 10. So Tagovailoa will finish with more touchdown passes, 4, than incompletions.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
He's 18 of 23 over the last 2 weeks.
And he still hasn't played in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
They haven't scored an offensive point. They score here. The offense hasn't scored a touchdown inside 12 minutes.
Yeah, this is where Tua really needs to pick it up at this point in the game. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's hilarious. And you say it tongue-in-cheek. I mean, right now, the way they're playing in the first 3 quarters and the production that they have and the stats that they're accumulating, I mean, you have to score 50 to hang with them. I mean, and how do you score 50 against an Alabama defense that is genuinely, one of the more talented teams in the country?
Hurts on 3rd and goal. Everybody covered. Hurts getting outside the pocket, and it's incomplete. Nice play that time on the pass intended for Waddle. Kevin Richardson, who has missed a lot of time with a foot injury, but it's a good player. He's back out there, and he made the pass break up, 4th down, and the field goal unit will take the field.
We joke, though. I mean, Nick Saban's constantly asking the media members to, hey, why don't you guys write something negative so I can show the players that and they can learn from it. Well, we just did it, Coach. We did our part.
Yeah.
Not playing very well at quarterback in the 4th quarter. That's what it is. And it's Tua Tagovailoa. He's got to adjust.
That was my homework assignment this week.
That was it?
Yeah.
12 players in formation. Backyard penalty. 4th down.
We just haven't revealed it yet, boys.
That's it?
Yeah, I got a couple of choice nuggets that just will really change your mind about the welfare and health of this team.
I dare you to go tell Coach Saban about it right after the game.
Yeah.
Just give him the full report. Here's what you need to work on next week.
I had a feeling he would smile, wink, and then walk into the locker room.
27-yard attempt by Bulovas. And it's good. 51-17. Alabama.
With an update from Ann Arbor. Big Ten matchup of Maryland and Michigan. Shea Patterson rolls up. Plenty of time to Ronnie Bell, who has 2 catches this year, both for touchdowns. Wolverines are up by 10. That game is on ABC at the half. In Texas, Oklahoma, Sam Ehlinger to Lil Jordan Humphrey. Ehlinger, first Texas quarterback with 5 touchdowns versus a ranked opponent since Vince Young in 05. Dave, pass back to you.
Wow. How about what Texas is doing to OU? You talked about the Longhorns on defense. How about their offense?
They're rolling, man. I'm telling you, when you have 2 big wide receivers and you look at Oklahoma's defensive backs, not very long, not very big. You have big, giant wide receivers like Lil Jordan Humphrey and Colin Johnson, man. They're a matchup nightmare.
This will be another touchback. All right, we talked before the break about Nick Saban's comments pleading with the media to find some negatives so he could use them as teaching moments with his squad.
I'd appreciate it if you would, sort of look at some of the things we didn't do so well, and write about that. So maybe I can show it to the players and say, look here, man. Here's something you can do better. All right, see you later.
Well, I mean, there are some things today on defense, right?
You got to look hard.
All right.
They'd blown a couple assignments on defense. They weren't real sound against the run because of numbers on a couple times. They missed a couple tackles, but for the most part, another pretty solid performance against an offense that has a nice plan for him.
Rakeem Boyd, who's looked really good running the ball. Gain of 9.
All right, guys, here's the homework assignment reveal. These were the things as I was diving in to Alabama that if you're in a tightly contested game, they're going to make a big difference. They've been a heavily penalized team. The kicking game has not been what they wanted it to be. They've been susceptible to big plays because they've struggled to tackle in space with some of their youth in the secondary. And that's part of growing up in the secondary, learning how to break down, understanding how to leverage the football and knowing your angles. But I think more than anything else, when you look at some of these deficiencies here, Greg and Dave, when we talked to Nick Saban about the kicking game, he said, well, I'm not too happy with our specialists, but I think our special teams has been just okay. So really identifying certain areas that they can be better, and that is growing up in the punting game and growing up as your place kicker.
Will they be in a close game, though, where those things play a role in the outcome? And we're trying to figure out in the first half, looking at their schedule, who can hang with Bama right now. Forget beating them as Story outside the pocket throws it away. It did get through the neutral zone. Again, they've got Missouri in Tuscaloosa next week. Then they go to Tennessee. Then they go to LSU on November 3rd, and that's their last road game. And then their last 3, Mississippi State, which is really struggling offensively, the Citadel, and then Auburn to close things up.
Yeah, all 3 of those teams at the end of the year really haven't found themselves offensively. You look at Missouri, they're about the only team left on the schedule that can score, but it's in Tuscaloosa, and I'm not real confident in Missouri's defense being able to hold these receivers and Tua Tagovailoa in check. So things are looking very bright for Bama.
Here's an interception by Shaheem Carter trying to run it back. And he will for the 4th defensive touchdown for the Tide in 2018. That's the 2nd one for Carter.
Ty Story's had a pretty good day today, but he throws one into very tight coverage, and when it gets tipped up, it's usually going to end up in the arms of a defender. This defender is Carter, and he scoots to the end zone. A guy that gets a little overshadowed in that secondary, but has had a pretty good season so far. Quietly put together quite a bit of production playing that star position that so many great players before him have played.
10 picks by Alabama, 4 pick sixes, and it's 58-17. Shaheem Carter wearing the turnover belt. Penalty marker is down on the kick. It's against Arkansas, I believe. or if it's against Bama. Let's see. Shaheem Carter from Kentwood, Louisiana, junior.
Point after touchdown is good. After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 6, defense, 15-yard penalty being forced on the succeeding kickoff.
So that'll make Alabama have an opportunity to kick it off from near midfield when we come back.
ESPN College Football is presented by Xfinity, now with ESPN3 available on Xfinity X1, and in part by the Alliance for Lifetime Income. Learn more at retireyourrisk.com.
Now, that was the most impressive play of the day. Did you see that by Tony Bell, the Alabama cheerleader? Unbelievable. Phenomenal. Man. Alabama will kick off from midfield. Again, they need a holder because of the wind. That's the other number 13, Nigel Knott, who's doing the holding there, not Tua. Touchback, come out to the 25.
Now let's take a look at today's hardest working player, brought to you by Duluth Trading Company. And we're going to give it to Henry Ruggs for the effort chasing Irv Smith. Look at him, he's not really running at full speed, but watch as soon as that ball comes out how quickly he turns on the Jets. Boom! I mean, like he was shot out of a cannon. And that ball ends up in his belly. He rolls forward. They give him a 12-yard touchdown pass on that. Still not really sure how you can justify it, but still a really, really nice job by him. Following the football, not giving up on the play, and as soon as he sees that ball break loose, turning it on and grabbing it, falling into the end zone.
One of 4 touchdown passes. It started as a pass, therefore it ends as a pass, even though there was a fumble and a recovery. Here's Jordan Jones.
Greg, write down that fumble by Irv Smith so we can give that to Coach, please.
Another thing to take into account.
Yeah.
Now, this fan here, it's really not the spirit, the school spirit you want to have when you come to a game. And Nick Saban was complaining about the Alabama fans. Chad Morris may have a beef with that T-shirt right there. He didn't come out here to have fun. Coaches don't have fun anyway.
Winning's fun.
Yeah. What did they say in Remember the Titans? Zero fun, sir. Zero fun, sir. Football's fun? No, football, winning is fun. I like it.
By the way, speaking of Chad Morris, we had a great conversation with him yesterday, and he was a guy that is so well respected as a high school coach, and then got an opportunity to be the offensive coordinator at Clemson. Gus Malzahn helped him out a lot in that. They knew each other, and both were at Tulsa. And so Dabo Swinney chose Chad Morris in 2011. And at that time, Dabo and the Clemson staff, they were in a little bit of trouble. They were coming off a 6-7 season, and they needed to find somebody that could change their offense because they had Taj Boyd, who was a good player, but offensively they were struggling. In week 3, they beat Auburn, which was the defending national champs, had a 17-game win streak, and you could sense the tide turn for Clemson, and the Tigers have not looked back, and Chad Morris deserves a lot of credit for what he did there.
Yeah, he's a really good offensive mind. He likes to really empower his quarterback. Obviously, the quarterbacks that he has on campus, maybe not the best fit for what they want to be long term, but he is a great offensive mind, and it's going to be a tough test to get this program going again.
Boy, I like the way he plays, not afraid to stick his hand in there and stiff arm Savion Smith. Texas A&M transfer, 46-yard run.
They got to get more guys like Raheem Boyd, more speed, more explosiveness, and that is what they're going to have to do if they're going to contend in this league. This offense that they run, it requires speed at every position. Right now, they have more size than they have speed because they've all been recruited to play in Brett Bielema's Wisconsin. We're going to control the line of scrimmage style of offense. So the transition is challenging, and they're going to have to do a great job on the recruiting trail to identify playmakers with top shelf speed.
There are some quarterbacks that they have their eyes on, and they had a good recruiting class, right, Tom?
Yeah, they do. They're
First charge time out of the half, Arkansas.
already 20 verbal commitments, so going strong so far.
All right. Take a break, come back. 58-17 Alabama.
Now with ESPN Plus. Get more ESPN and download now.
Full day of college football, and then after our games tonight, with the last game being Utah-Stanford, it's SportsCenter with Bucci and Stan. Complete post-fight breakdown. McGregor, UFC 229. All the best from college football today. Key moments from the game twos in Houston and Boston. It's on ESPN, as well as the ESPN app tonight. 1:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, our ABC Prime game. We got Kentucky on the road at Texas A&M. Kentucky ranked higher than Michigan in football, as Story runs out of bounds after getting the first down.
Are we in Bizarro world?
It is interesting, right? You got Michigan, Tennessee, other blue chip programs down.
Let's not say Michigan's down just yet. They lost one game to a team that's ranked
the last few years.
That's fair.
You know, yeah.
But I mean, they're very much in the hunt. They've played a lot better the last few weeks, so I'm not willing to completely write them off just yet, Dave.
Get them right.
Come on, Dave.
They're not going to be in the college football playoff, all right? So that means they're not back just yet. Boyd to the 16-yard line. Unless you guys think they're going to beat Michigan State.
I feel pretty good about them against Michigan State based on
State.
how those two teams are playing right now. They have Wisconsin coming up in a week's time, so that'll be a challenge too. Wisconsin's pretty good on defense. You look at Ohio State and Penn State, both appear to be among the best teams in college football. So I know Penn State lost last week, but they had every chance to win it. So yeah, there's a lot still left on the vine for Michigan.
Story on the rollout. Nice throw. Touchdown catch. Devion Warren. Ty Story, even though he's made some mistakes in this game, got a lot better in this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's handled adversity well. I mean, he has put the ball on the deck twice. That's a nice throw, rolling to your left, over the outstretched arms of Deontay Thompson, and low and away on the corner route as he rolled to his left. That was really nicely done by Ty Story.
Second touchdown pass of the day, now 6 on the year for Story.
In Missouri and South Carolina. How about the rain? Drew Lock having some issues on 3rd and 12 as it'll be a pick six. Sherrod Green takes it back. The game on SEC Network. Seriously, a little blurry, a little wet and wild, especially if you're a kicker. Tucker McCann with the attempt. By the way, the fans are obviously raucous. 25-yard attempt. He hadn't missed a field goal under 30 yards this season, and good luck with that. South Carolina 31-23, starting the fourth. How about Will Muschamp fired up, Dave?
Champ's like, bring it on, man.
He's loving it. He's loving it.
Luke's is on his way, by the way. There's a downpour, and Luke's is here where the weather's okay.
Yeah, I don't think that was real footage because I'm not there.
Kick it into the ground here. Irv Smith will grab it on the 21. And they get him down. They couldn't get Smith down in the first half. And Tua Tagovailoa found him, a touchdown pass on the opening play from scrimmage. And then watch Irv Smith here. He might score. He's breaking tackles and then, whoops, coughs it up. But racing in is Henry Ruggs. And then look at Tagovailoa, Greg, moving around in the pocket.
Just makes it look so easy and releases the ball so quickly and accurately to his receivers in stride. They almost never have to adjust to the throw. He was on point today. Just 3 incompletions. One was a bit of a throwaway. One was tipped at the line of scrimmage after he got hit. And the other was just outside the arms of Irv Smith. So even his incompletions were relatively accurate.
He is our player spotlight, brought to you by John Deere. Again, more touchdowns than incompletions. 18 touchdowns. And through 6 games has still not thrown an interception. And it's remarkable. Number 1 in the country in pass efficiency rating. Last week he was 8 of 8 passing. So in 2 games he has 3 incompletions.
It's amazing.
Jalen Hurts hands it off to Najee Harris. And Harris is close to a first down. Two Bama receivers, Tom, have 100 yards today. It's the 7th time Bama in school history has had two guys in the same game with 100 yards.
And quite honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in this season they have 3. That's how good the group is as a whole. One thing I was going to point out here is Dan Enos, the quarterback coach on the sideline. I mean, they are coaching Jalen Hurts hard. Not happy with him keeping the ball off of the zone keep, screaming at him to hand the ball off. So you can tell they want the ball in the hands of the backs, but they also want to protect Jalen Hurts. They don't need him carrying the ball right here.
I'm actually surprised that there are some starters still on the field for Alabama.
Najee Harris trying to find a hole, brought down at the 44-yard line. I thought the way that both Tua and Jalen handled this whole situation, remarkable for both young men. So much character and respect for one another. We talked with some coaches down on the field before the game and said, hey, is that real? And they said, yeah, absolutely. The respect they have for one another. And I think that's a big reason why this has worked. And it has to have an impact on your teammates, right? When your leaders handle it the way those two guys have.
Well, they have. I mean, those guys have been just so happy for one another's success, too. And that's really infectious.
I mean, in a day and age where a lot of players, for one reason or another, whether it's a good reason or not, bail when things get tough, Jalen Hurts didn't do that, and the respect level for him has gone up. And who knows? I mean, he's one play away from being thrust into a situation with the #1 team in the country should something happen to Tua.
And the world is a me world. You know, how does this affect me? How can I get mine? How can I be the best me? And you know what? If you're in my way, I'm taking the path of least resistance. I'm going elsewhere. So you have to applaud Jalen Hurts for sticking with it, for recognizing, you know what? I'm going to get elite coaching here with Dan Enos, my quarterback coach. I'm going to play with great players around me. I might not start, but I'm going to get enough reps to have a productive season.
Harris breaks a tackle and then pushed out of bounds inside the 23-yard line. Then again, you could also say, well, players are taking advantage of a rule that's there. They're certainly allowed to do that if they're going to lose the opportunity to play.
By all means. And if Jalen would have gone before the season and gone to Nick Saban in the middle of camp or at the end of camp and said, hey, Coach, Tua's going to be the guy. I got to go somewhere else. I hope you understand. Nick Saban would have helped him, would have said, hey, we're happy to help you in any way we possibly can. But he opted not to do that. And there's something to be said for that, because just as soon as things get tough in this world now, in college football especially, you bail. And that's your right. You earn that right. You have that choice to make. But it's gotten really tough for Jalen Hurts. He's hung in there, and he's become a better player as a result, and still a key featured player on this team in a lot of ways.
They're going to keep it on the ground with Robinson. He's bottled up after a 1-yard pickup.
And don't you think, Greg, that Jalen Hurts is a byproduct of what's made this program great? And that's the environment of competition, in the sense that everybody is being recruited to beat out the guy that was recruited before them. And the coaches aren't responsible for, motivating the kids. The environment of competition does it on its own. And that's what's happened between these two players.
Yeah, I mean, they've made each other better. And just being around them, I get the sense that Jalen's a little more reserved, a little quieter. Tua is just very outgoing and friendly, but they just have such a special relationship between the two of them. And the iron sharpens iron. I mean, it's real. I mean, that is a real thing. So when you constantly are having someone pushing you, and you have someone that's behind you that can and will take your job if you don't perform, that not only creates a certain level of respect between you and your backup, but it pushes you to heights that you wouldn't get anywhere else at this point. So it's really remarkable, the dynamic.
It is. And Greg, I'll give you a prime example. I'm talking to Alabama's offensive line coach Brent Key prior to the game, and we were talking about some of their young guys. I asked how Alex Leatherwood is doing, and I said I was really impressed with how he came in the national championship game and filled in for Jonah Williams, who was really struggling but got hurt and had to leave the game. And Brent Key said that moment is what made Jonah Williams the player he is this year, because Jonah saw it and he realized, whoa, I wasn't playing very good. This guy just came in and bailed us out on the left side. I better get my game in shape. And that's exactly what he's done.
And John Parker Wilson, I'm sure, said the same thing about Greg McElroy He was there.
But that's really positive thing. It's every single day there's a healthy fear. It's real. I mean, there's a healthy fear. You know what? I better go out there. I better play well. It's fear that if you don't play well, you can get replaced, and it's fear that if you don't play well, you'll get yelled at. It's fear in a lot of ways, and fear makes you better. Being uncomfortable makes you become comfortable being uncomfortable.
Hey,
and
Greg,
that's really remarkable.
Yeah, and I got a question for you, Greg. Having played in this environment, played in this locker room with this team, and what the mode of operation is there any truth to the point that the week leading to the game is so strenuous that when you get to the game, it's almost a relief?
Before you answer that, Mac Jones is in at quarterback. He just was the QB on that last play, freshman out of Jacksonville, Florida, replacing Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, where this program is now, I mean, the most challenging 75 reps that they're going to get during the week is on Tuesday practice.
Yeah.
Straight ahead, Robinson down at the 5-yard line with 2:43 on the clock. Jones has played now in 5 of the 6 games. Had a 94-yard touchdown pass last week, the second longest in school history.
No, he's been a pleasant surprise for this Alabama team, and to add additional focus and praise upon what Mark Stoops has done at Kentucky, Kentucky identified him first. He was a long-time verbal commitment to Kentucky. Late in the process, I think Alabama realized we better bring another one in here, given what our numbers are or what they could be as a result of a transfer. And Mac Jones is a quality player. So you see why Kentucky's gotten better in their recruiting efforts.
Robinson into the end zone. Alabama has scored over 60 again. In fact, this is a new season high. The previous was 62 against Ole Miss. 64 with the extra point pending. And 641 yards of total offense is also the most this season for number 1 Alabama. Robinson, a local product from Tuscaloosa, sophomore, with his first touchdown of the season.
They like him quite a bit. Now, I know the top 3 guys are elite, but every time I go to practice, someone seems to pull me aside and say, hey, keep an eye on 24, Brian Robinson. He's got a chance.
Tonight on ABC, Notre Dame is on the road in Blacksburg, taking on Virginia Tech, 8 Eastern on ABC, as well as on the ESPN app. Ian Book has made a huge difference since coming into play quarterback the last 2 games for the Irish.
Yeah, he has. Now you look at Ian Book and what he's brought stability to the quarterback position. So Brian Kelly and that coaching staff, they know what to expect from the quarterback position, so they can delegate offensive responsibility elsewhere on the roster. With Brandon Wimbush, you just never knew what you were going to get. One week he'd look like an All-American, the next week he'd look like a walk-on. He'd be up and down. So Ian Book, you know what you're going to get. Now you can lean heavily on those running backs and that offensive line that's still moving people around.
And Warren deciding to return this one. And Warren takes off. Kicker to beat. And Warren beat him. They finally catch up to him. Nigel Knott brings him down to the 22. Let's go to Adnan Burke in the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Dave. Once again, an update what's happening with Texas and Oklahoma. This thing is far from over. Kyler Murray zips it to Lee Morris for the touchdown. Will there be enough time for the Sooners to rally in a 2-possession game right now? 45-31, just over 5 minutes left in Dallas. And coming up next, good news for Clemson. Trevor Lawrence was banged up, but he is back. Tigers get set for Wake Forest next, right here on ESPN. Dave?
And Adnan, that shot that Trevor Lawrence took last week, it had Clemson fans, I imagine Dabo at the time, panicking. But it's good to see that that young man is okay and ready to go today. Malik Williams on the carry.
You see that young man that just tackled Malik Williams? That's a Yabi Anoma. And get ready, because that's the next great one here off the edge as a pass rush for Alabama.
6'5", 245. How do they always get these linebackers who are 6'4", 6'5", and 240, 250?
I wish I knew. I mean, they breathe fire off the edge, too, because if you look at a Yabi Anoma, everyone was on him. I believe, Tom, if I remember correctly, he was a signing day announcement.
Yep.
And he's not there yet. But on a group that doesn't really have that elite game-changing edge rusher, maybe by the end of the year, he'll be that guy.
Story taking a shot to the end zone, incomplete, trying for Grayson Gunner.
Greg, he just needs to learn the game. The theory of the game, the understanding of all the components, the technical side. There's no questioning his athletic traits. I mean, he moves at a different speed than the rest of their front, but he's got to know the game to be a complete player.
You got to know the game, get a little stronger, a little more dialed in with his fundamentals. But that's a guy to remember. It's just for the record, when you get a single-digit number and you're on the defensive line, that usually means you're pretty good.
You're a freshman.
Yeah, and you're a freshman. That doesn't happen very often, so it's a guy to keep an eye on.
Good job by Story there, man. To avoid a sack and then on the run, complete the pass. Again, I know that they're down 65-24, but especially offensively, it's the most points Alabama's given up this year. You're seeing Arkansas starting to look a little bit more like Chad Morris.
Just
wants him to look.
Just progress. I mean, you don't expect the new coach to come in first month of the season, wave the magic wand, and next thing you know, you're in the running for the SEC West crown, especially not with some of the established programs that are already on this side of the SEC, and they're making progress, and that's got to be a real welcoming sight to Arkansas fans and to their coach.
Look at Story, pinball forward to the goal line. I'm going to try to run another play here and get into the end zone. Remember, he coughed it up. Had he scored a touchdown, it would have been 21-14. I'm not saying that Alabama wouldn't have still scored 65 points, but it would have made it interesting anyway in the first half. But he fumbled the ball. Alabama then went on a 99-yard drive in less than 2 minutes. So instead of it being 21-14, it was 28-7. Bad snap. Story in trouble. And it is incomplete. Flags, though, come in. They're going to get Savion Smith for interfering with Petway with 18 seconds to go in the game.
Pass interference. Number 4, defense. The penalty's half the distance to the goal line from the 1 yard line, where it would be a first down.
So they'll move it to the half-yard line.
Another thing, too, with Arkansas, I mean, the last few weeks, as you can see, a very clear pass interference. Good call by the official. You have to marvel at how hard they've played. Like, you know what? Might not be the most talented team, not going to win today, didn't win last week, didn't win the week before, but man, they're playing hard, and that's got to be happy as well.
Cole Kelly in the game at quarterback, and the 258-pounder hits Pater, and that's 30 points for Arkansas. All right, so if you're Nick Saban, you're going to go back, you're going to find all the things your team did wrong in this game and use that as motivation and a teaching tool for Missouri. Greg, if you had to pick one thing right now that in order to win a national championship, Nick Saban might be concerned about, what would be the number one thing?
Kicking game.
Okay.
Because when you're in a game against close teams, and Alabama fans know this, people that have covered that program over the last decade, they know this. If there's one thing that has not been consistent since 2010, is that the kicking game has been up and down. And they've lost games as a result of missed field goals. They've lost games because of big plays in the kicking game. So that's the one issue right now that gives me a little bit of concern. But if they keep operating the way they are right now, running the football and being efficient in the red zone, kicking field goals is...
Defense, no concerns defensively?
A few.
But kicking game more
Kicking
so.
game more significant, yeah. And if you look at the defense, they need to be a little bit better from a communication standpoint. You still see some errors in the secondary when it comes to passing off guys on stacks. We've seen a couple big plays and a touchdown created today because of that. So a few errors, but that comes with growth and experience. A lot of young guys in the secondary. They lost their top 6 defensive backs off last year's team. So not really surprising that group is still a bit of a work in progress.
Wow, ball on the ground. Robinson able to cover it up. And so Alabama likely will just take a knee or just hand it off, and that'll be the last play of the game. Alabama, again, next week. It's on ESPN. It's a Saturday ESPN night game against Missouri. And after that, We go to Tennessee and then to Baton Rouge. Final 3 games will be at home: Mississippi State, the Citadel, and Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Auburn has an interesting game tonight at Mississippi State. Mississippi State had high expectations coming into the year, but 0-2. We were there last week when they lost to Florida, 0-2 in the SEC. Can Nick Fitzgerald make some things happen offensively? He's had a disappointing year so far. But Alabama offensively has been anything but disappointing. Nick Saban's team has been dominant. Another blowout win for the Crimson Tide. Tua Tagovailoa continues his march towards the Heisman Trophy. He's had a year through 6 games unlike any quarterback maybe we've ever seen. 18 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Let's get on to Tom.
Well, Coach, lots of positives, lots of things to coach off of as well. How did you guys feel that you came out and played after the second half?
I thought we played a little bit better for a while, but we scored 65 points, so you can't complain too much about that on offense. But defensively, we didn't execute very well, and you got to give them a lot of credit for the job they did. But it's a little disappointing that we're not making the improvement we'd like to make on that side of the ball.
When you're playing some reserves, some younger players, you're trying to see what you got out of that group. Did you see some things that encouraged you today?
Well, I think the experience is invaluable to them. So the more they get to play, the more I think they'll improve.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, Tom, final score: Alabama 65, Arkansas 31. The Tide 6-0, 3-0 in the SEC. For Greg McElroy, Tom Luginbill, our entire crew, I'm Dave Pasch. Send you back to the studio now and Adnan Burke.
All right, Dave, thanks to you.